everybody, and welcome to the stream. Sunday night card readings. As per usual, I've got my compere Andy in his black dress tonight, apparently, because his red one's in the wash.
I snagged it up back at arse, so Becky needs to sew it. Oh dear.
So you've got Andy in his little black dress tonight instead of Andy in his little red dress. I hope everybody's okay. Before we start, can I just say, could everybody just spare a thought for Australia at the moment with what's going on in South Australia? I have got friends in the paranormal who are actually living through it at the moment. They've been trapped in the fires and stuff, so could everybody just spare a thought for what's going on with the wildlife and everything? Thank you very much. Hi, Sam. Right, Andy. Who have we got first on the cards?
Jamie.
Jamie.
Yeah.
Trouble. Okie coke. Ooh, Jamie, this is quite an interesting one. Obviously, past, present, future, final outcome. I've gone croaky all of a sudden, Andy. I'm cursed. Right, Jamie, we'll start with your past card first, which is the Eight of Staves. What I'm getting off that card at the moment is there's something that's going on at the moment that's on a downward slide sort of thing. What's recently happened, there's been some kind of change in the physical elements of your life on a downward movement. I'm looking at them staves, and I'm getting like a slide slowly going down sort of thing. It's something on a physical on the physical level, not on the mental, not on the material. It's definitely on the physical. Again, but that could be a friendship. So it's something that's recently happened that's to do with the physical. Um, I'm getting friendship off it, even though it's a stave. That there's some kind of friendship that's recently been tested in some way or other, or this friendship, you've either got doubts about it, or it has been in a gradual decline. But it's important because it's moving into your present. So I don't know exactly what it is, but I do get the impression, even though it's a wands card, that it's a friendship. It's a friendship. Okay, you know what? It hasn't been a sudden thing, to be honest with you, Jamie. I get the impression that it's actually been a gradual downwards decline. It ain't been something that's come out of the blue. It's something that's been ongoing for at least a couple of months, I'd say. But it's definitely been on the downwards. It's a slippery slide down, not on the way up. So it's more of not negative as in horrible, but it's on the negative side of friendship rather than on the positive side of friendship, Jamie. But it's nothing, that you ain't aware of. It's something you've been very much aware of as it's been going on. But like I say, it's been a gradual thing. Now leading into your present, it's saying to me that there's been some kind of juggling going on. Now again, I don't think this card is representing finances. It's more of the balancing act thing going on here, of juggling to do with this friendship. And I think you're coming to the stage now where you've got to the point where you think it's time to cut your losses, to stop being quite so what's the word, diplomatic, shall I say. I feel that maybe, and knowing you, this is really a strange thing for me to say, but you've kept your tongue over whatever's been going on. You've kept your opinion to yourself, but you feel now that it's at a point where it's no longer worth doing that. You're juggling different aspects of your life concerning this friendship. Now I don't know if this friendship is um, affecting other friendships. That is the sort of impression I'm getting, is that this friendship that has been on the downward slide has caused you to have to juggle things with other people. Um, right, okay, end of the road is well and truly enough. Okay, yeah, but I believe it's affected other people around you, Jamie. For you personally, I ain't saying it's affected them personally, but it's caused you to have to constantly juggle the situation regarding this person and other people in your life. So this friendship has been affecting the rest of your circle of friends, if you know what I mean. For you personally, I don't know whether you've got other people in, other friends who don't like this person or weren't happy about this friendship, and you've been keeping the peace kind of thing. But this card in your present is saying it's time to end that juggling act now. Um, right, okay. Okay, well, he's saying now that it's time to put a stop to it. The juggling act's got to end. One side's got to go up and one side's got to go down. And if you look, the angle of the two pentacles is exactly the same way as the ones are. So what it's saying is that the friendship that is referred to by the one card is carrying on sloping down into your present. So you've got to put your other friends and acquaintances before this person now. They didn't like the gaslighting, etc. All right, okay. Um, but you need to cut them out. Um, Leading into your future, Jamie, it is going to cause problems for somebody. I think you may worry in the future that you've done the right thing, but let me tell you that you have, because coming into your future, you've got the Nine of Swords, which is quite high up, and it's an intellectual card. And what it's saying is, you may, at a future point, you're going to think, did I do the right thing? Did I not do the right thing? The answer to that is, doing it now is the right thing to do, because it will save you a lot of anguish in the future. Because if you don't cut them out, your future is going to show a lot of mental anguish, sort of thing. Not on a, when I say mental anguish, I don't mean like it's going to drive you nutty, but it's the sort of thing that'll play on your mind. Hi, Maureen. Um, the gambling's open, Maureen, whenever you're ready. So what it's saying is that is linking into your future. That balancing act now is finished. Cut it off, because it's going to save you a hell of a lot of mental anguish in the future. Because if you don't, it's going to cause you all sorts of problems on the mental level, um, Jamie. So do it now. Now's the time. Uh, Also, something else is going to crop up in the future that's going to worry you. I can see there's doubts surrounding something with you coming up in the next couple of months. Um, I don't know what the situation is, because the card ain't really, nothing's jumping up the card at me. But there's definitely some kind of doubt surrounding you in the next couple of months. There's some kind of questioning from you on a personal level. You're going to be questioning a situation, or questioning a person, most definitely. It's one or the other. There's going to be some kind of doubt surrounding you, Jamie, and it's going to be significant to you in the future, and I think it's going to be within like 2 months. I'm just getting the feeling that it's going to be, you know, quite close into the future. It ain't going to be a distant thing, so it's something that's coming up, I'd say, within the next 8 weeks, the next 2 months, sort of thing. But there is going to be some kind of doubt there. Now, that leads on to your final outcome, which is, again, another ones card. And this one is always... okay, Jamie. This one, again, is saying to me decisions. Decisions on a physical level. So, I always class that as, as it's a friendship thing again, Jamie, or a family thing. There's some kind of decision to go on there regarding you personally. There's a choice to make between two people, and this is the final outcome. And what it's saying is, your final outcome is going to depend on which choice you make. There is definitely a choice to be made here between two people, maybe even three, but I think it's two. I get the impression it's two, and you're gonna need a lot of soul searching to do it. You're gonna go very you got to go very introspect to solve this. It's a very strange one, Jamie. But again, I think it's separate. I think it's separate to the first person, but I think they may play a part in it in the final outcome, sort of thing. I think that indirectly your decision will be as a result of what you've learnt from the situation that's going on at the moment with this other friend or person. But there's again at the end in the final outcome, there's going to be a second choice, and that person that's currently there will indirectly help you make your decision for this second person, which it's just really odd. But I am definitely getting the feeling of introspection, going inside yourself to make choices. I also get the feeling, Jamie, that it may be the start of a new period for you. Oh God, that sounded awful, didn't it? A new period of your life, should I say. Something you're thinking about is connected to these two people. And I get the impression that one person will help you do what you've been thinking about, but the other person will stop you from doing it. So you've got that's where the choice is coming, Jamie. That is definitely where the choice is coming. You've got a choice between these two people, and one of them will allow you to carry on with something you're thinking about, but the other one means if you pick that person, what you're thinking about will not be possible. So again, it's saying choose wisely. You've got to go within yourself and thinking. Well, thanks for dropping by, Brett and Andy. You're welcome, Jackie. So just basically have a good think about it before you make the choice. Andy, can you just chat a sec while I just check Jace is okay?
No
Cheers.
Yeah, so if anybody wants a reading, we've got one spare slot for tonight. We're filled up pretty quick. So yeah, just ask for a card, please. First one to ask, I'll pop you on.
Sorry about that, I'm back. Right, so in summary, Jamie, there's a friendship on the way out at the moment. The time is now to finally resolve that issue because you've been biting your lip for too long. Make sure you do it because it is going to cause you problems if you don't. It's going to cause you worry and upset. But there is a second decision to be made between two other people that is coming up in your final outcome that are to do with with a decision you've currently made or a direction in your life you want to go. But one of these people will allow you to do it and one of you will stop you from doing it. But neither is necessarily a bad choice, depending on what you finally decide you want out of life. But that is what's coming up. That is definitely what's coming up. But use what you learn with this current friendship to make the decision on this future one concerning these two people. So I hope that helped, Jamie. And it was nothing to do with your love life tonight. Oh, you still there, Andy?
Yeah, I am, yeah.
Oh, cheers. Right, shuffle again.
Next on list is Stephen Dennis.
Stephen. Oh God, Steve's got the judgment card again.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Right, Stephen. Past, present, future, final outcome. We'll start with your past, obviously. Right. Now that card is always interesting because I always say that this is um, an offer on somebody has recently offered you something on an emotional level, I'm not in a relationship at the moment. Somebody recently has made overtures to you on it, and I ain't saying this is relationship wise, but somebody has definitely offered you some kind of emotional support recently. There's an offer of emotional support being made in the recent past, um, or you've lent on somebody in an emotional way. It's definitely an offer of an emotional level. Most definitely, it's the cups, and you got two cups together again, which is really, really strange, really good. But I think that these two cards are actually connected, Stephen, because I think because in your present you've got the Ace of Cups. Now the Ace of Cups is the start of a new emotional journey, and most often than not does signify the start of a new relationship. And I think this is connecting back to this past card. I think whoever this person is that has either offered you emotional support or you've wanted emotional support from, I ain't quite sure which one it is, but something to do with them is going to come to pass quite soon because this is in your present with your Ace of Cups. These two cards are most definitely linked, Stephen. So somebody either you're thinking about on an emotional level or somebody who's offered you support on an emotional level recently is going to become very significant in your life now in this period. Um, I don't know whether you've had the odds for anybody or anything because this is what these two could actually signify is somebody that you may have had been holding a torch for could be within your grasp right now. And obviously I don't know your personal life, but that is definitely saying to me there's definitely the start of a new emotional journey because it's the Ace of Cups and it nearly always signifies the starting of a new relationship. And for this one, I do think it's an actual romantic relationship rather than an actual friendship type relationship. Because I think on that last card, it actually represents you, and the cloud offering the cup is either somebody offering you support or it's you daydreaming about somebody on an emotional level. And these two cards are most definitely linked in that respect. And what I'm getting is that whoever this person is the person who now at this point in time is the person you have a chance to start with on this emotional journey together. And I honestly do think, Stephen, it's romantic rather than just platonic. Definitely, I definitely get the feeling that um, it's romantic connections. It would have been even better had the lovers been in the four cards, but what is there is good enough to suggest the start of this new relationship. But it's definitely somebody you've had dealings with recently. Most definitely, it is most definitely somebody you've had emotional dealings with recently, or somebody you've been thinking about emotionally. But it's somebody you know, it's somebody you already know. Right, moving into your future, you've got the Judgment card, and I don't know why, but this bloody card seems to love you. Nearly every time we do a reading, you get this card. But where it is this time in the reading, and because it's connecting back to the last two cards, again, I'm getting the impression that there's some kind of hesitation on your part. And I feel that this card is actually representing self-judgment rather than you judging somebody else. Um, I think you may be putting past experiences up as a barricade to this relationship that, it could quite easily blossom now, but you've got to stop putting the barriers up and putting the mental blocks up because you're actually cheating yourself out of the chance of a good opportunity with somebody, Stephen. That is what that Judgment card is saying, and that is why I think Well, it's somebody you know, Stephen. It's definitely somebody you know, and it's somebody from your past, definitely. But it is somebody. It ain't a stranger. It ain't somebody some stranger you're going to meet. It's somebody you know, most definitely. But what this third card is more of a warning card, saying don't be too hard on yourself when it comes to whatever happens, because I think what this is saying is you're the type of person who tends to overthink things on when it comes to relationships, or you put blocks in you put blocks in your own path that don't really need to be there. You're a bit too critical with yourself and with the actual relationship, and you end up sabotaging your own happiness, is what this is saying. And it's warning you not to do that, Stephen. It is definitely warning you not to do that. It's saying, go for it, take a chance, because you've got a chance of happiness here, most definitely, as long as you don't sabotage it yourself. That is what those first three cards are saying. Now, your final outcome card is the Three of Wands, which again is a physical card. And to me, that always says to me that is a card of contentment for me in this reading. It's saying that if you can get past these blocks, Stephen, you'll be very happy with how your life will end up. You'll be very happy with this person. It's somebody who would be good for you, and it's somebody who you could pretty much spend the rest of your life with, type of thing. I ain't saying it's going to be all fireworks and little bluebirds and stuff, but it would be somebody who you'd be very, very compatible with. And this is what your final outcome is showing, but you've got that judgment sitting in between the start of the relationship and this final outcome. And that is where the block comes, and that block is definitely you. It's definitely you, and and that is a warning card, Steve. And it's not a prediction. It's definitely a warning. It's basically saying don't be overcritical with this relationship, and don't be overcritical of yourself. Yeah, and this is what this reading's saying, Stephen, is you'll do it again if you're not careful, and it's telling you not to do it. Don't do it, because whoever this person is, you could be very, very happy with this person. You could be very content. They are what our class as a life partner, somebody you could settle down with long term, and it's somebody who will be good for you, and you'll be very good for them. But you've got to get past this mental block of putting obstacles in your own path. You're going to be your own worst enemy otherwise. But basically, all of this reading is saying there's somebody from your past is going to come in. Things are going to develop on a romantic level. Don't be overcritical. Just go with the flow. Let things go as they are. You'll be perfectly okay. As long as you don't sabotage yourself, you will end up in a relationship that's extremely stable and steady, and one that you'll be very happy in, and they will be very happy with you. So, I hope that helps. And I'm just lighting my ciggy again. That was quite a nice reading for Stephen.
Yeah.
I'm going to start taking the judgment card out whenever I do Stephen a reading. I guarantee you it'll still pop up. That card seems to love him. Well, phone him, Stephen. I think it's time you found him, because you are definitely putting obstacles in your own path. Who's next?
Tariq.
Tariq.
Yeah.
Interesting. We've got an upside down card.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Another interesting reading. Right, we've got two major arcanas in this reading, one at the start and one at the end. So that always signifies to me that rather than a past, present and future, this is a linked These 4 cards are linked, one after the other. And obviously, this reading, the Lover's card in it is basically the basis of what's going on. And I think in this respect, it does mean what it says, as in lovers, as in a partnership. Matters concerning romantic partnerships with you are very important at the moment. There's something circling around you concerning a partnership, Tarek, and I think it's one on an emotional level. It's really interesting because it's linked to the Three of Cups. Now, the Three of Cups is always a funny card. It has many meanings, and I never like it when it comes upside down because for me it adds negativity to the three, to the cups, and I don't know how. All right, I'll just say it. When I get that reversed, that to me often refers to a betrayal of love. Is what that card signifies to me, and it's really odd that it's come upside down because again, before I started, I went through the entire deck and made sure everything was the right way round, and somehow or other this card has come upside down again. So there's something going on at the moment with you regarding a relationship, Tarek, and it's something that's going on that shouldn't be. There's another party involved in this. Am I being diplomatic here, Andy?
You are? Sorry, Brett.
I said, am I being diplomatic? You ain't even listening to what I'm saying.
No, Becky's showing me a knitting.
I think to say knickers then. I was going to say, no wonder you're distracted. There's definitely some kind of deceit here regarding relationships, Tarek. Most definitely, and there is a third party involved. And that is as far as I want to take it in on that card. But that is the sense I'm getting. There is negativity surrounding that relationship, and there is a third person where there should only be two. And I'll just leave it at that, right? Moving on to the next one. Yeah, well, I ain't saying you ain't, but that I can only tell you what I'm getting off the cards. It could be totally wrong what I'm getting. Lee's been undiplomatic about it. But moving on to the third card, what I'm getting here is that there's an awareness going on here of this by somebody, by a female who is part of either your family or their family, who are aware of it, and they are watching very intently at the moment. And what this card is, what I'm getting off this card at the moment is that this person is watching, and they're making decision. They're going to make a decision regarding what they know concerning this. Was that you, Andy?
Yeah, it was Becky shouting.
Oh, now that creaking noise.
Oh, no.
Well, I don't know what that was then. There's an outside a person outside the relationship, but within the family, either your side or your wife's side, who is aware of what is going on. And this person is a mature woman, and it's somebody who's got quite a lot of influence within the family. That's what I'm getting at the moment. It's a woman. It could quite possibly be a parent, or it could be an aunt or an elder sister of somebody within the family. But they are very aware of what's going on. I get the impression they're not complicit in what's going on, and I don't know whether they are going to jump positively or negatively regarding what's going on. Because this last card is the Chariot, and the Chariot always signifies movement. And what's jumping out on this card for me tonight is the two Sphinxes and the fact that they're pulling apart. And that is definitely saying that this woman holds the key to whether this relationship stays together or pulls apart, and it's going to be based on this woman, what this woman does, what this woman says, or maybe what this woman doesn't say. But it's really interesting because there's a lot of movement surrounding relationships at the moment, an awful lot of movement. The Chariot is the ultimate movement card, and I'm really those two sphinxes are really jumping out. Now they signify a decision. They can signify the positive and the negative, but they can also signify pulling in different directions, and that is what I'm getting off the card at the moment. That there's two pathways here where this can go. It can pull in one direction or the other, but that is linked back to the Queen of Pentacles, and this is the woman in the family who has got quite a lot of influence with one family or the other, and I'm getting the impression it's either mother, aunt, or older sister. But this is the person you've got to keep an eye on, because they're going to make or break that relationship concerning you. Most definitely. But that's about the best I can tell you, Tarek. I know it ain't the most positive of readings, but I can only tell you what I was getting off the cards. And like I say, don't take what I say as gospel, because I could be totally wrong. I can only tell you what I am personally getting off these cards, and that is what I am getting. So I hope that helps one way or the other. Yeah, I love the way Lee diplomatically put it.
Very diplomatic.
You're welcome, Tarek. Right, let's see if we can get a more cheerful one.
Yeah.
I don't like them.
So next up we've got Louise.
Well, it started with a decent card, Louise. Oh, wow. Three major arcana. Right, Louise. Again, this is another interesting one because those first three cards are connected. But I do think they're staying in past, present, and future. But what they're telling me is something that's gone on in the past is carrying on into the present and is going to carry on into the future. Not a bad reading at all. Not negative. Basically, the Wheel of Fortune is it's mainly a positive card. It can signify a downward turn of fortunes, but in this case I don't think it does. I think in this case it's representing something in the recent past you felt has been out of your control. This is the element of the card I'm getting, that, you know, something has been left to the fates, or the fates have took over. There's been something recently going on that you've had no control over, that has been important to you, but no matter what you've tried to do, it always seems to be that fate has taken a hand and had the final decision on whatever it is that's going on. And I don't think it's a negative thing, to be honest with you, Louise. I don't think it's been a negative thing whatsoever. But I think maybe you've wanted something recently you've wanted an outcome of, you haven't actually had control of. You know, it's been left to outside influences, but I think whatever it was has still turned out to be quite positive. And I'll tell you why that is, because moving into your present, you've got justice, and again, I'm getting the positive aspects off the justice card, which is basically you getting a just result, a justified result. So, like I say, I can't tell you what the situation was. All I'm getting is that this situation was basically left to chance, and maybe not by your own choice. I think that you probably tried to influence whatever it was, but the fates just took over anyway. But it did turn out positive. And I think now, at the moment, you're about to reap the rewards of what has recently gone on. and this is what your justice card is showing you, that there's going to be something positive coming for you very soon. You know, I ain't saying you're going to win money or something like that, but whatever this situation is that has recently occurred, you're now about to reap the rewards from it. And I'm getting that it's very, very positive. Very, very positive, Louise. Very positive. There's nothing negative about this at all. Like I say, I ain't getting the impression it's going to be like a massive windfall or anything like that. But it's something for you that personally is going to be very rewarding. That's about the best way to put it. It's going to be a positive outcome for you. And it moves on to the Hermit. And this is the really interesting one linked with Justice, Louise. Because, again, the Hermit is reinforcing that personal element of what's going on. That what is happening now is going to carry on into the future for you on a very personal level. It's almost as if you've took a gamble recently, it's paid off, but it's going to pay off in the long term as well, Louise. And it's definitely specifically for you, because it's the Hermit is sitting in your future position in the reading, and the Hermit always signifies the person who you're doing the reading for. And it's going to be an enlightening path for you as well. It's going to open up all sorts of new possibilities for you, Louise. It is a really good reading, to be honest with you, Louise. But it's a long term thing. What's happening now is just the start of something else. There's going to be some kind of snowball effect with what's going on, and it's personal to you all the way into the future. You know, I know people have got family and friends and stuff, but whatever this situation is right now that's come to fruition is definitely going to be positive for you in the long term, because it's carried on with the Hermit. And like I say, the Hermit for me always signifies, reinforces things personally for the person you're reading for. So that for me, that's saying it's not going to affect your social circle or your family or anything for that. It is specifically for you, and it's a very positive thing. And it's something could be new business. It could be new business, Louise. It definitely could be new business. Now, leading on to your final outcome, this is really interesting because you've got the 5 of Wands, and again, I always say the 5 is either is like the balancing of something, and to me, I'm getting some kind of celebration off that, some kind of victory. Whatever this thing is that's carrying on, it's going to lead you in a personal development that is going to be, you're going to be very successful with. There's definitely a goal at the end of it, Louise, and what that's saying is that this goal is going to be achieved, whatever you're heading for now, and this is going on for the next, I'd say, 12 months, maybe even longer. But you're moving towards a specific goal now through situation that's really recently occurred. The ball started rolling now in your present, and it's come favourably. It's then going to condense really onto you in a way that is really good, really positive. But there's some kind of personal victory for you at the end of it. There is most definitely a personal victory. There's some kind of big celebration is going to be the result of this. You know, it's definitely showing balance on the physical plane. But every time I look at that card at the moment, I'm getting like party and celebration, which to me, you know, is signifying that there's going to be some kind of personal victory for you. Most definitely personal victory for you. It's whatever you're doing. You're married, Lee's off already. Whatever path you're on now, Louise, it's a path of success, most definitely, and it's going to be a really, you know, a well-deserved success. But it's a success that you're going to achieve personally. It's not going to be something that just lands in your lap. It is definitely going to be done via you. And everything in your reading at the moment is narrowed down to you. I could say it's almost a very selfish reading, but not selfishness from you. The reading itself is very selfish. It is totally focused on you and nobody else. That's the real strange thing about it, because it's a really positive reading, but it's also very, very focused, Louise, onto you. And it's definitely success, Louise. And there's going to be some really big goal achieved at the end of this. There's some kind of personal success at the end of it, because all I'm getting off that card at the end is celebration and party, which is always really, really positive to have. But because the way it's linked to the other three, it is linked through this success that you're working towards. So it's definitely. Can I send you a pic to read, Lee? So it is most definitely going to be success on a personal level, Louise. Really, really nice reading that. Nice and positive, thank God. But I like that one. But I cannot stress enough how selfish that reading is. It is so fixated on you, Louise. That reading is all about you. Normally with readings, they tend to pull in other people, normally your friends and family. But this one, it's like an arrow straight at you. It's totally fixed on you, and it's saying that everything that's coming is specifically for you, not anybody else. So, really nice reading. Hope you're happy with that, Louise. I like that one, Andy.
Yeah.
How many we got, Andy?
What left? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 left.
Okay, go.
Well, 6 with next one. Do you need to roll a smoker out while...
I'll need to run to the loo in a minute.
Alright, we'll do that next one.
Yeah, it was a really nice one, Louise. It really was a nice one. Right, who's next?
Tracy B.
Tracy B. Oh, let's do a nice one. We're going to get awkward questions after this, Andy. Oh, Tracy, this is an interesting one. I'm just putting my cards down. Right, Tracy. Past, present, future, final outcome, as per usual. I Rose. This one. This one is really strange, Tracy, because I'm getting off all I'm getting off this card at the moment is patience. That's what I'm getting off it, and I'm getting patience with a family member. Now I don't know if it's saying that recently you've had to have a lot of patience with a family member, or that you've actually been losing patience with a family member. I get the impression it's linked to family, and there's some kind of it's self control and patience I'm getting off this card, Joanne, really strongly as well. What did I say?
Joanne.
Oh, sorry, because Joanne's name just popped up. Tracy, sorry. I've just seen Joanne typing in the chat. It's definitely linked to patience, Tracy, and it's definitely linked to close family or friends, and I get the impression it's family. And I think somebody's been trying your patience quite recently in quite a big manner. I don't think you've been trying their patience. I get the impression that they've been. Yeah, that is what I'm getting off the card, Tracy. It's really strongly to do with self-control and patience, and it's been very significant, really. And I'll tell you why it's significant, because when you move onto the next card, that one is telling me it's time to walk away from the situation. It's time to somebody. Oh, this is going to sound awful. Somebody is a millstone round your neck, Tracy. and they're connected to this patience thing. And what it's saying is, for your own well-being, you know, you need to walk away from this person, or this, maybe not the person, but the situation they're creating. You know, and it's going to be difficult for you to do, but the cards are saying now is the time to do it. It's either the person themselves or the situation related to the person or persons, because it could be more than one. But I definitely get that it's family. It's time for you not to turn your back. When I say walk away from them, I don't mean, you know, like bugger off and say sod you, but it's definitely time to walk away from the situation itself. You know, and now is the time to do it. Now is definitely the time to do it, because you're going to find it difficult. Because I'm getting off this card that even though you know you need to do it, it's something that's going to be a difficult decision for you to make. But it is saying definitely do it now, and it probably will cause you a bit of emotional hurt to do what you've got to do. But what I'm getting off this card, the best way to sum this card up, Tracy, is what I'm getting is sometimes it's better to be cruel to be kind. You know, for them as much as for you. Because I think, you know, walking away from this situation in the long run is going to be as beneficial for them as it is for you. There needs to be some kind of space put between you and these people to allow this situation to diffuse. Okay? If you can understand that. Right, yeah, exactly. And it's time you walked away from it. You've got to walk away from this situation now, most definitely, because your next card is coming as a warning that you're going to be stuck in limbo, because you've got the blind decision card, and what that card is saying is it's a warning card, not a prediction card. If you don't deal with it now, you're going to be stuck with it. You know, you're going to see no way out of it whatsoever. Every decision you make regarding, you do need some self-preservation, most definitely. And it's saying now is the time to do it, Tracy, because now is the most beneficial time, not only for you, but for them. You know, this hasn't got to be nasty in any way, shape or form. This could be a positive thing for everybody. But, you know, there is a situation here where you're like a victim in it. And you need to walk away from it. You need to space yourself from it. And if you don't do it now, you're going to be trapped there forever, evermore. It's going to be one of them situations you're going to find very difficult to break out of. Otherwise, you're going to see no way out of it. You was only meant to blow the bloody doors off. But, yeah, definitely, Tracy, do it now. Do it now, because that third card is most definitely a warning. It's telling you that you will reach a point in the future otherwise where you will not see a way out of it. It'll get worse for you and it'll get worse for them. You know, and nobody will be happy then. But at the moment, this is still a positive reading, Tracy. Definitely, because he's saying that there is a positive, you know, even though, like I say, sometimes you've got to be cruel to be kind, it will be positive for both of you. Because otherwise you're going to end up, all of you are going to end up trapped in this very horrible situation that none of you really want to be in, and that none of you can find the way out of, if you know what I mean. It'll be a vicious circle, and that's what the cards are warning you against. Because if you do the break now, it'll be a positive break for you and for them. If you leave it longer, it's going to cause a lot of upset and hurt on all sides, because you're going to struggle to find a way out of it. Now, your final card is really good, because you've got the Chariot, and then again you've got this movement thing. So what it's saying is there is a way forward in this entire situation, and this is why I'm saying it's a positive reading, Tracy, because you've got the Chariot there, and I'm seeing the positive elements in the card, which is moving forward, is what that card's saying. There is a way forward for you, and a way that you can resolve this that keeps everybody happy. You know, even though they may not think it now, 6 months down the line, they're probably going to thank you for doing it. They'll definitely thank you for doing it, because this chariot is definitely coming across as way forward. Move forward, keep moving, you know, in a positive manner, not in the negative manner. But it's also signifying the control aspect of the chariot as well. And it's reinforcing this, you've got control of the situation now, and only you can keep control of the situation. The control is all definitely with you. This other person or persons, I don't think they're in the position to do what you can do at this moment and resolve it positively for all of you. They could probably resolve it in one way or the other, but I don't think it'd be good for any of you. And this is why the chariot is also reinforcing the control aspect of things, Tracy, and saying that, you know, you're the one holding the reins in this situation. You're the one to carry it forward, but you're the one to carry it forward in a good manner. It's definitely in a positive manner. There's no need to be falling out with anybody over this situation, but you do need to be a little cruel to be kind right now to get to that point. Because otherwise, if you leave it on, it's just going to stagnate and get nasty for all of you. Most definitely. But your final outcome is definitely a positive card, and it's showing movement forward, and the fact that you're fully in control of that movement. You're the one who holds the reins, and you hold all the keys. You hold all the cards, if you excuse the pun. You know, you're the solution to the problem, even though you're not the problem. Because I'm getting that the problem is being caused by them, you know, but you're the solution to it. Yep, remember, it ain't what you do, it's the way that you do it. Exactly. So I hope that helped, Tracy. But that was a good reading, because, you know, there's nothing negative coming off it. Yeah, that's exactly what you got to do. Put your big girl pants on and crack on with it. But honestly, Tracy, it's not going to be a negative thing. You know, as long as you do it, and you do it now, you're going to be fine. You're going to be fine, and they're going to be fine. And I honestly think they'll thank you for it 6 months down the line. I really do. So I hope that helps. Andy, can you just chat a sec while I run, because I definitely need the loo now.
Yeah.
Thank you. Back in a sec.
Yeah, no trouble.
Alexa, turn on bathroom lights.
I've had a few interesting readings tonight so far.
Sorry, the hub that device bathroom connected to is not responding. Please check its network connection and power supply.
Oh. Alexa don't want to do that. Oh dear. So, on list, right, after we've got Dead Mirror up next, and then we've got REM Pod Rachel, and then Nikki, then Jackie, and then myself, which could be quite interesting. I ain't had one done for a little while.
I'm back.
Are you back?
I'm just going to
We heard Alexa arguing with you.
I know. Alexa, turn off living room. No, not living room. Alexa, turn off bathroom lights.
Okay.
Thank you. Look, you normally asks me if I've put the toilet seat down.
Lee, no, I'm not vegan. I'm not even vegetarian.
I glanced up then and read, "Are you a virgin, Andy?" And I was thinking that's a bit of a personal question to ask.
Definitely not. I used to be veggie, but I've got really bad stomach issues, and veggie food doesn't agree with me at all. So I had to revert back.
Right, who's next?
Next up is Dead Mirror.
Dead Mirror.
Yep.
Okay. God, I hate people calling people things like that. Ooh, new ideas. Ooh, even better. Well, that's an interesting final outcome. And now I've just knocked everything off. Right, Dead Mirror. This is another positive one with a warning at the end. Past, present, future, final outcome. Right, you've got in your past the Knight of Swords. Now, the Knights for me, again, are a movement card. But because it's the swords, it's movement on an intellectual level. So for me, that always says that there's... I'm now confused, lol. No, I don't mind your profile picture of a human. Right, Dead Mirror. What that's saying to me is there's been movement in ideas lately. Possibly new ideas, new plans have been really important to you recently. I know we've just had the new year, so I don't know whether it's in connection to New Year's resolutions you've made or something like that. Hi, Elizabeth. But something that's recently happened on an intellectual level concerning ideas has been quite important to you. And it is definitely on the intellectual level. And it is definitely ideas. That is what I'm getting off the card. It's a mental state of things, and it's a lot of movement in that area. And because of the new year, I get the impression, it could be linked to New Year's resolutions and stuff like that. But they are going to be very significant to you because this is what it started with at the start of your reading. So it's saying new ideas are the foundation of this reading. So whatever you've been thinking about recently is now going to become very important. The good news is, moving into your present, you've got the world. Now, I always love the world no matter where it drops, because the world is always, it's the card of completion and success. And I think this is reinforcing this new idea card that has been in the past. And it's saying now, old ideas have come to a fruition, and now, and that's completed, and they're successfully over. And now is a time of great success for you on the intellectual level concerning these ideas. So, what are the plans you've made recently? Now is the time to enact them, because you've got the world, and you couldn't have a better card there, to be honest with you, in your present, especially when it's concerned linked to one of the knights, because the knights signify movement on particular levels, and like I say, swords is the intellectual. So what it's saying is this precise moment in time is the time whatever it is you've been thinking about, because old ideas have come to completion, and they have successfully completed. I ain't saying old ideas were bad or old beliefs were bad, but you're coming into a new phase of belief and ideas, and now is the time to do it, because the world signifies success, and it's saying at the moment you are in a period of success. So whatever you do now will be successful. I would suspect a robber, someone breaking in. Right, okay. I'm getting something else off this card, and it's really weird. Something to do with 4, and I don't know why, but the four elements in the 4 corners are popping out at me, and I don't know what that is to do with, but it's something to do with 4. I'll see if I can come back to that, Dead Mirror, but there's something in the present now that is connected to 4 somethings, and I don't know what. I don't think it's 4 animals, but there's definitely 4. There's 4. It could be 4 areas of success, or 4. It's you, Dead Mirror, or 4 people are concerned with these ideas. But there's definitely something to do with 4 here at the moment. 4 is going to be significant, so just keep an eye open for 4. I've got absolutely no idea what the 4 is, but this 4 is definitely important to you, most definitely. Leading on into your future, you've now got the Page of Cups. So you're moving from the intellectual and success into the emotional side of things. Now, to me, the page always signifies younger people normally, but I don't think it does in this thing. Um, I'm getting again, like I did with Stephen with the Two of Cups earlier, the Four of Cups earlier, that this is an emotional support thing, and it's saying coming up in the future, concerning with what you're planning at the moment and what you've got going on, you're going to need to lean emotionally on friends and family, not in a big way, but I think somebody within your circle, within your social circle, is going to prove to be very good on an emotional level for you coming up into your future. Somebody is going to give you a lot of emotional support, and I don't know what plans you've got on, but on the emotional level, somebody within your social circle who is with you now is going to offer some kind of emotional support or emotional advice, and it's positive. It's definitely. I ain't saying something horrible's going to happen and you're going to need emotional support, but I get the opinion. I get the impression they're going to give you emotional support concerning these plans at the moment. Um, I don't know. Maybe you'll doubt yourself. I'm getting that you may be doubting yourself at a point coming up within the next few months of the way your life's going. But this person is going to step in and they're going to give you the advice that you need on an emotional level. So what it's saying is, don't be afraid to lean on family and friends in the coming months, because there's definitely somebody within your social circle who is going to be very important to you. On your phone is tripping. Is going to be very important to you on the emotional side of things. Your final card again is a warning thing, and the hangman always signifies stagnation and suspension, or a ceasing of ideas, and this is an advisory back to your Page of Cups, because what that last card is saying to me is your life going forward and your plans going forward are going to be in the Page of Cups is going to be an important aspect here, and if you don't follow the advice you get off the page, this emotional advice, things are going to grind to an halt. So I don't know whether you've got plan. I don't know whether it's plans for a business, plans for a new job. It's plans for something that are currently in the making that this person is going to help with. But you've got to listen to what this person says, and you may not think at the time that what they're telling you is relevant or the correct advice. But what the cards are saying at the moment is the advice of this person is the correct advice. It's the proper advice you need for this precise moment in time. And it's somebody. It's definitely somebody you know, Dead Mirror. It's somebody within your social circle now. I ain't getting whether it's friend or family fully. I tend more towards outer, good friends or outer acquaintances. But it is somebody now. I don't think it's going to be a family member. It's somebody from within your social circle though, who you already know. And what the advice they're going to give you soon is going to be very, very important to you. And it's something you're going to carry forward your entire life. It's going to be of that much of importance, because that final card, the Hangman, is saying you've got to listen to what this person says, because otherwise you're going to end up stagnating. Your ideas are going to go nowhere. This person is the way forward for you. And I do get the impression it's a friend rather than a family member. Oh, it's Little Snail. But definitely take the advice of this person, Dead Mirror, because that last card is most definitely a warning of stagnation and suspension. So what it's starting off is there's these. If you sum it all up in one long line, it's saying you're in a period of life where new ideas are just started. That's what's just completed. Now is the time to start enacting them, because you're in a period of success with the world, and the world's always a nice card. It's the ending of one stage and the starting of another. So it's saying now is the time to start those ideas. Concerning these ideas, there is a friend, and I do think it's a friend, who is going to be there to offer you support because you are going to need the support at some point in the future. And the last card is saying, please take the advice of this friend because what they tell you is going to be important to you. They're gonna prevent a negativity forming. They're the cancel. The Page of Cups is the cancellation to that Hangman. So listen to your friends, because one of your friends is going to be extremely important to you in terms of advice coming up with what you're currently planning on doing. Hope that helped. That's all I can tell you at the moment. That's all I'm getting. Okay. Oh. Throat's going dry, Andy.
Is it? One gonna drink.
No, I'm alright. Right, who's next?
Rempod Rachel.
Rempod? I didn't realise Rempod was on. Hi, Rachel. Sorry for not saying hello. I didn't realise you were on. Problem is, when I'm doing these cards, I don't watch the chat. How many's left, Andy?
1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay.
Yeah.
Lil Smalls, if you leave a if you put a contact email on the video later on, I'll do a reading for you, and I'll write it down and post it to you. You know, because I know you had a bit of a strange one last time, so you know, just give me some contact details and I'll get one done for you. Okay, here we go. Rempod Rachel. Okay. Past, present, future, final outcome. Another interesting one, Rachel. Another one with two major arcana cards in your future and final outcome, which is really interesting. Again, I don't think this is a past, present, future. I think this is a four-link card reading. You're starting off with the Page of Wands, which is telling me that... oh God, this is funny. Oh, this is really strange. It's something to do with a renewal on the physical level. No, it's not. It's not. Ignore the fact that that's a wand. I'm getting the impression off that card that this is a renewal on the belief level. Something new is coming up, belief, or something. There's been a shift in beliefs recently, Rachel. Very much a shift in beliefs, but it is linked to the physical in some strange way. Okay, just put it in the comment. I'll get it off this later, Little Smalls, and I'll email you on, no problem. You're welcome, because you did have a funny reading last week. There's a changing of ideas here, Rachel, but they are linked to the physical. So it's ideas on a physical level. This is a really strange card, and it's because I'm getting use off it, but I'm getting intellect, even though it's a wand. But I'm also getting the physical because it's a wand. So it's like a renewal of mind and body, Rachel. That is the best way of putting it. Recently, there's been a total renewal in your total outlook. There's been a total rebirth of ideas and all sorts of things, new bursts of energy. Almost like a butterfly coming out of a chrysalis. It's like a rebirth has recently occurred, Rachel. It's really, really strange. and it's linking into the next card, which is your Six of Swords, because that card to me always shows a continuation of ideas. It's like your ideas are going on a journey, and that is what it's showing. But it's it's also showing that you're still carrying some kind of emotional baggage with you at the moment. So connected to this renewal, these ideas are still ongoing, Rachel. These plans, I don't know what you've got going, but there's. Thanks, Becky. Um, these ideas are ongoing now. They really are. There's a lot of movement on the intellectual plane, but the bag on the boat is actually your old ideas, and it shows that even though you've got this new um, vigor for life, and it's almost like a child setting out on a new adventure. That's what I'm getting off these first two cards, Rachel. Is you feel like you're suddenly on the start of a new adventure, but it's on the physical as well. It's on the intellectual as well as the physical. It's both. So it's like new. It's almost like a childlike, excited type of adventure, but you are still carrying emotional baggage concerning it. So something is holding you back slightly. There's some kind of doubt there that you need to chuck in that lake, is what I'm getting off that card. That this journey is the right thing for you to do at the moment, and the start of this new adventure is really good. And it's definitely a promise of good things to come, Rachel. But you've still got something in the back of your mind holding you back. There's still some doubt and hesitation there, and that is what's represented by that sack. That's your old ideas and your old ways of thinking. And what that card is saying is you need to dump them off that boat and just paddle off into the distance, because that's the way forward for you now. This adventure, this renewal of it's like a renewal of life, Rachel. It's really good. It's a really positive vibe off these first two cards, but it is saying that you need to dump this baggage. You've got baggage, and you need to get rid of it, because again, that's linking into strength, and it's saying that you're the solution for you at the moment with whatever's holding you back is inner strength. It is most definitely inner strength. You've definitely got to battle your demons and get rid of it, Rachel. And it's saying you have got the strength to do it. It's really, really interesting, because I'm loving this last card, what I'm getting off this last card. But it's saying whatever, definitely work on your demons, because you have still got some demons there, and now's the time to get rid of them. Now is most definitely the time to get rid of them, because you are on this new journey, and it's a journey in all aspects of your life. It's physical and intellectual, not really on the emotional side. It's physical and intellectual. So it's like a travelling forward, a constant moving into new ideas and a new way of thinking, new ways of living, basically. But it is saying you're carrying this baggage, but you've got the now you've got the strength now, Rachel, to cope with it. And I think in the past maybe you were in a period of your life where you maybe didn't have the fortitude to do it, or whatever. But you're definitely at a phase in your life now, Rachel, where it's saying strength now is what's going to carry you through. That strength is there for you to get rid of these demons and all this old emotional baggage. It's got to go, and also old ideas. Everything's got to go, and just move forward with what you're currently thinking. Now, your final card I really love, Rachel, because it's the High Priestess, and for some reason I am getting off this things of a supernatural or paranormal nature. And I think this is what it's saying, that you are on a new journey concerning the paranormal. I thought that was a person sat on the boat. They were taken out to swim with the fishes. That actually sometimes comes across to me, Becky. But what it is saying, Rachel, is this. I think this journey and ideas is connected to the paranormal. And when it comes up like this, Rachel's REM pod. Rempod Rachel, friend of Sam's. I always call her Rempod. Um, I can see a develop. This normally, to me, Rachel, signifies a development of psychic talent, and I think this is the journey that you're currently on. I think you've got some kind of latent talent in some area or another that you've kept hidden, or you've deliberately ignored, and this is what this baggage is, and this is what you've been a little bit frightened of it in the past, and this reading is saying there is some kind of latent psychic talent here that you're going to develop, but you've got to get rid of that baggage to do it. And I ain't saying you're going to suddenly start hearing the dead or astral travel or wherever it is, but it's definitely saying there's hidden knowledge there of a supernatural level, and it's some kind of psychic talent that you have been frightened of in the past, and it's saying now is the time to start developing it and make use of it, because it will help you a lot in whatever you're doing in the future. And it's time to get rid of all the doubt and the fear of it, and I think that's what's signified in that second card. And it's saying that you're going to develop it, and you're going to develop it really well. And I ain't saying it's going to be some major psychic talent, but there is definitely psychic talent there, Rachel. And it's talent that you definitely need to start developing now, and the only thing holding you back is you. A hard toad smiled my mighty crotch bulge and ate his mullet. So maybe talk to Sam over that, Rachel, because you may find that Sam's got knowledge over certain things that you may not know of. So talk to Sam and see what impression Sam's got of that. But I do think it's a talent you're aware of, and in the past you've been frightened of it. And I think now is the time that you're going to start developing it. And this is what all this movement of mind and body is in aid of. It could because you've got the staves in there twice. It could be something along the lines of healing talent or something like that, rather than talking to the dead or whatever. But there's definitely a psychic talent there that I think you are aware of, but up until this point you've suppressed. And I don't know whether you've done it on a conscious level or an unconscious level, but I get the feeling if it's an unconscious level, now is the time you're going to suddenly start to become aware of it, and now is the time to start developing it, because you've been holding yourself back regarding it. That's it. Talk to Psychic Sam. Sam is our highest rating psychic person on the channel until we do the next psychic tests. But there's definitely a talent there, Rachel, and it's yours for the taking now, most definitely. But you yourself are holding yourself back. It's time to dump it. Definitely time to dump all the doubt and fear and get on with it. Start developing it, because it's going to help you in general life, whatever it is. Okay, Rachel, you're welcome. How many we got left, Andy?
We've got 3 left.
Okay.
And Nikki's gave up her place for Little Snails.
Oh, right, okay.
So, Little Snails is up next.
Little snails.
Little Snails.
Oh God, I'm glad that fell there. Right. It's his little smalls, isn't he? Is it little smalls?
Yeah, it's Little Snails.
I'll call you little snails, because that's what's stuck with you now, unfortunately. Right. Now this is the exact opposite of the previous reading, because in your past cards, that to me always shows a death of ideas, a quite brutal death of ideas. Maybe even having your hopes dashed recently. There's been some kind of disappointment there, little smalls, on an intellectual level. It is little smalls, but Andy actually accidentally called little snails last week, and it was quite funny. But there's definitely in the recent past, little smalls. there's definitely been some kind of death of ideas, or quite a rapid change of ideas, or changing of opinion. There's definitely been quite a turbulent time recently on the intellectual level. Uh, and it's been quite a dramatic change, because I always say that that is the intellect murdering you, literally, in that card. So it's like the death of intellect. So to me, that always signifies a radical change in ideas or beliefs. So I don't know what your beliefs are, and what ideas are currently rattling around in your head. But recently, there's been some kind of dramatic change in that area. Um, these little smalls, they just read it as snails. So there's definitely been this massive change in ideas. Moving into the present, you've got the Six of Pentacles. Now, what I'm getting off is little snails, the opposite of the notorious bid. What I'm getting in your present is charity on a material level, or some kind of there's some way you can help people at the moment, Lil Smalls, on the material level. And I ain't saying necessarily, when I say material, I always say to people, it's not necessarily money, but it is something that's material. And what I'm seeing you as the person standing there, helping the two who are kneeling on the floor. And to me, that's saying whatever this radical change of ideas is, it is going to lead you to a path where you can help people, and this is going to be happening soon or now. You're going to be able to help people on the material level. I ain't saying you're going to turn into a loan shark or anything like that, but there's definitely some way that you can. And I get a feeling it's probably family or friends that you're going to be able to help in a material way. Definitely in a material way. I've no idea. It could very well be, but it's definitely showing you helping them, Lil Smalls. It's definitely you being a benefactor to other people. You being beneficial, but it's definitely on the material level. It's not emotional or physical, it's material. Okay, it's easy to, believe it or not, it's easier to say little snails than little smalls. But it's definitely you being beneficial to someone or some bodies on a material level, most definitely. Now, onto your next card in your future, you've got the Tower. Now, the Tower is quite a negative card, but I think in this case, this is a warning, because I'm not getting it as I'm not getting the predictive elements of the card. I'm getting it that it's a warning, and what it's saying is you've got to be very careful what you do in the coming months. And I think it's going to lead back to that second card of you being a benefactor to people, because what it's saying is it could backfire on you unless you maintain strong control of what you're doing. Because I think it's warning that people, when they see the good side of your nature, could possibly want to take advantage of it. And that's what the warning is. That's what the destruction is on that card at the moment. It's not coming through as a negative tower. It's coming through as a warning tower. And it is definitely linking back to that card immediately to the left of it on the screen. So I think that's coming as a warning to say, whilst it's going to be good for you to be of help to this person or persons, be very careful how far you take it, because some people... well, I do here, so maybe that could be something else, but good to know. But just be very careful, because somebody will attempt to take advantage of you if you're not careful, little snails, most definitely. They're going to see that you've got a generous nature, and someone is most definitely going to try and take advantage of it. But you are definitely going to be aware of it. Definitely going to be aware of it, because it's coming as a warning. It's not coming as a prediction. It's just coming as an advisory card. It's saying be generous, help people, but don't help people to the detraction of yourself. Because in helping other people, if you take it too far, they'll either not appreciate it, They'll either take advantage of it or it will some way impede you on other levels. Okay? If you can understand that. Now, your final outcome is the Sun, which is really good. The Sun is one of the best cards to have in your final outcome. And this is why I say I don't think that tower is negative, because it's surrounded by two positive cards. And the Sun is one of the really nice positive cards. And that is telling me that as long as you steer a path of common sense, what's coming up in your next 6 months is going to be really, really good. It's going to be really good for you. As long as you keep aware of what you're doing and what other people are doing around you, your future is literally looking really sunny. And it's also signifying there's going to be some kind of travel involved as well. I can see movement around you, and possibly, I don't know if you've got an holiday planned for this year or whatever, but I can see that being something a little bit special this year. There's definitely you moving. There's definitely movement there, and there's a lot of contentment coming up for you in the future, and it's definitely leading back to those first two cards. That whatever you do there is going to bring you a lot of contentment in the future, and I think you're going to find that not only are you going to improve on an emotional level, it will also improve you on a physical and an intellectual level as well. So I think by helping others is going to really help you, little snails. I really do. I think this is the way forward for you for the next 6 months, and there's going to be a lot of movement in all levels of your life. That reading is literally saying a sunny future at the moment, a really nice sunny future, and it is going to be linked through your generosity. And when I say generosity, I don't just mean money wise. It could be a generosity of spirit and stuff like that. But you're going to help these people in so many ways. But you've got to know when to rein it in. But excuse me, you yourself on a personal level are gonna benefit from it. And it's definitely onwards and upwards for your little snails. I hope that helped. I'm glad I can say little snails now. It's a lot easier to say than little smalls. Right, who's next?
Next up is Jackie Matthews.
Okay. And who we got after Jackie?
Myself?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
You should read your bloody... Oh, mind you. If you can read yourself as well as I can, you'll get absolutely nothing out of the reading.
That's it.
Right, here we go. Oh, I love it when people get the devil as the final outcome. Who are we doing this for, Andy?
Jackie.
Jackie.
Yeah.
Right, Jackie. The first three cards, I'm getting the impression they are linked. And you've got two emotion cards surrounding a material card, which is really interesting. For your past, I always see that card as parent-child or grandparent-child, grandparent-grandchild. So family have been very significant. No, this is going to sound so cliche, being Christmas and stuff. But recently, family have been very, very important to you in some way or form. And I get the impression, Jackie, particularly children or grandchildren, have been very... they've been on your mind a lot recently. They've been the thing you've been concentrating on. And I know it's just been Christmas and stuff like that. But that is what I always get off this card. And I get the impression that something to do with either kids or grandkids, but definitely children within the family have been very significant to you at the moment. And it's really funny because it's leading to the King of Pentacles, which is a stability financially. I don't know whether there's been some kind. I don't know whether you've been worried about your kids on a financial level or kids on a financial level, but kids are definitely leading into financial stability. So, or it's saying that you've been a little bit generous with kids, Reese. And again, with Christmas coming up, it's a bit cliche, but it's saying there's a lot of there's been a lot of stability with money regarding children, or children have provided you some kind of stability on a financial level or a material level. I won't necessarily say financial, but children and finances are linked recently, in the past, and coming now. So I think maybe it may be referring to the fact that you may have been a bit worried about Christmas or something like that, but financially you've come out of it quite well. But there's something to do with these kids recently in the past that have been very significant, but it's still showing you in the present on a very stable financial level, which is odd. But I do get the fact that these two are connected. They're definitely, well, the three are connected. And money again moves back into the Page of Cups, which again is a youngster. And it's young. It's something to do with a youngster on an emotional level. I don't know how old you are, but it's definitely a younger child is connecting the two. Both sides of the children they've got this money sitting in between them, which is really, really interesting. Who was it again I was reading for? Was it Jackie? I thought it was. What's really interesting, Jackie, is this material thing surrounding the emotional side, but it's the emotional side of things concerning kids, grandkids, nieces, nephews, that kind of thing. There's something but it's showing that you're financially stable, but there's something coming up in the future, where one particular child in particular is going to become very significant to you, and very significant on an emotional level. And I ain't saying you're going to favour one over another, but one of these children is going to require something to do with, and I would say it's money. I don't know if you've got somebody due to get to college or whatever, but one of these children is definitely going to have some kind of financial reliance to you. Right, grandkids, okay. One of them's going to cost you a bit of money. I ain't saying I'm going to empty your bank, but it's either one of your kids or one of your grandkids, and I get the impression it's a teenager is what I'm saying. There's a teenager involved somewhere that is going to require some help off you in a financial manner. And it's really odd because with the devil, it's like there's some kind of contract there, Jackie. They're going to be very grateful to you, but they're going to feel obligated in some way. There's going to be some kind of obligation because this child is also tied to the devil. Not in a bad way. I mean, to the devil card. I ain't saying, your child's devil possessed or anything. It's just this teenager is connected to the devil card. Now that the devil card always signifies some kind of contract or bondage in the extreme terms. But this I don't know if you've got a teenage grandchild. I honestly don't know, but this is definitely a teenager that is some way going to be bonded to you through finances. That's about the best way to put it, Jackie. There's going to be some kind of financial bond between you and this teenager. Now, when I say young teenager, I consider them like 11 upwards, even though officially they ain't like officially a teenager till 13. But it's definitely a child from the age of 11 upwards is going to be some way bonded to you financially. I don't know who it is, Jackie, but there's definitely a teenager coming through with this. It's definitely a younger person. definitely a younger person, and they're going to be bonded to you financially. You're going to do something for them financially. Um, I don't know if you're going to open a bank account or something for them, but this, I wouldn't think so. Because it's come up like this, Jackie, I'm getting the impression that this is very important. Now, this is older than 8, Jackie. There's a child old, I'd say 11 onwards, 10 at the youngest. 10 at the youngest, definitely not. I can't see it being an 8-year-old. Because it could be, but normally for me, the pages signify teenagers. It's definitely a child, but this child is going to require help on a monetary level, um, for something. I don't know what they're going to get into, but it's something you're going to be willing to do. It's not going to be a financial drain on you, but they are going to be literally eternally grateful to you for whatever it is you do for them. You're going to help them in a big way. Whatever this money is for, it's going to help them in a big way, and it's going to set them on a path in life that is going to be positive. But the devil there is actually is signifying the bond between you and this child. It's definitely a strong bond, but it's also it's a bond on the emotional level, because it's the Page of Cups, and pages signify children, but normally they signify teenagers, but they can signify younger child. But there's definitely going to be something. There's something coming up for you quite soon, Jackie. That it could be. I don't know. They may want to suddenly decide to do singing lessons or music lessons or something like that. But whatever you do for them at this point in time is going to be very important for their future. You're going to do something that is going to set them up for life, literally set them up for life. It's going to put them on a path that I can see becoming a profession for them. So I don't know what your kids are into and your grandkids and stuff, but you're going to be in a position to really help them do. And it is a child. It's definitely a child. It's not an adult. So I don't think it's your kids. It's definitely one of your grandkids. But they're gonna require financial help in some way, but it's something that's going to be extremely significant for them, Jackie. It's literally going to carry them into adulthood. Or I can see it becoming a job or a profession for them. Whatever you help them with now is leading to setting them up for life. And it's going to be really, really good for them. But just keep your ears open with your kids, and see if their kids are wanting to do something at the moment that maybe gonna cost something. And it may be that your family don't really want to ask, but you're in a position where you can really help this child. You can really help this child and it's on a material level, Jackie. It is most definite. You're going to help on a material level, but it is something that's really going to set this child up. Really going to set them up. I'll get the impression. What keeps coming to mind is something like dancing lessons or music lessons, or now, Lee, it could be a new pair of football boots, but normally it ain't normally that insignificant. It's something that's going to be a long-term thing. It's definitely going to be a long-term thing, but I don't know, mate. I don't know if any of the grandkids like music or something like that, but you're going to set them on a path to success, Jackie. Most definitely. It is definitely going to come through you. And you're going to set this child on a really important path to success in whatever they do. Sorry I can't help you anymore, but that is exactly what I'm getting off. Well, maybe he's going to become an Olympic swimmer, Jackie. But there's one of your grandchildren. You are going to help one of your grandchildren in ways you do not realise, and I mean in big ways. It's like what you do now is an investment in their future, and it's really important that you do it, because this child it's going to be important for this child. Most definitely, it's going to literally it's going to set them up on their lifetime path, Jackie. Most definitely. But keep your ears open, because it hasn't happened yet, Jackie. It's showing in your future. So this could be within the next 6 months. But if one of them suddenly, announces they want to learn to play the piano or something like that, and the parents are a bit worried about, you know, the cost of it, you're going to help in some way, and it's gonna set them on. You're gonna set your grandchild on a path to success, Jackie. Most definitely. Most definitely, what you do now it's gonna echo into the future. Is the apple for me? Well, you're gonna do something that really sets him up, Jackie. Honestly, you really are. So I hope that helps. Is that all of them now, Andy, or just you left?
Just me left, yeah.
Oh. And then I can do me a cup of coffee while you chat.
Yeah, I was going to have one last week, but Ellen stole my place.
Naughty Ellen. The Empress? Oh, why have you got Gaia in your past? Well, it's obviously why you got... Oh, God, that's interesting. Okay. That is really interesting, Andy. Right. I think it's obvious what the Empress, because I've always said to you, in your past, you've Mother Earth is is what the Empress signifies to me, and it's saying, that things of a natural level have been playing an important part in your past. It's a bit stupid me even describing that card to you, because I think it's blatantly obvious what that's leading to, but it is saying that there's new journeys regarding that. It's the birth of something new has happened recently. It's that next one I don't like. It really is that next one I don't like. There's definitely, because even though it's the feminine card, for me it's the nature card as well. I always call it the Gaia card. Mother Earth is, it's very nature based, and that obviously applies to you. Right, we'll go on to this card.
Yeah.
Normally, Andy, that card, if it had been, and I don't know why it's upside down, had that have been the right way round, that normally signifies being surrounded by a lot of love and the help of a lot of friends, the backing of friends and family. Upside down, I am getting that somebody in your inner circle is being deceitful.
Right.
There's a betrayal coming from somewhere, or somebody is not giving you, a friend is not a true friend.
I know exactly what that is.
Okay, it's a really, really funny one, that one. I don't like that card upside down, because I love that card the other way around, because it shows your friends surrounding you and backing you up. When it's upside down, and I'm getting it as a negative, it's that somebody within the circle is not who they claim to be.
There's actually two people I've been mithering over for the last 4 or 5 days. That's
Right.
actually, when I had my bad turn.
Yeah.
2 people who said they'd come and see me and never did.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
that card is screaming false friends at me.
Yeah.
Most definitely. There's a
That's what
betrayal.
that's all about.
There's a betrayal there, and it's happening now, because it's in your present. There's definitely a betrayal of friendship. It's actually because it's upside down. It's the opposite of somebody having your back.
Yeah.
They appear to be, but they don't. Right. Yeah, we're all from England. Leading into the future, Andy. This one is really interesting. And I've got to be careful what I say here.
No, don't be.
Now I have.
Okay.
What you're looking for is coming.
Okay.
Because the King of Wands represents a male Earth, and that's all I'm saying on that.
Oh.
Okay, because the ones represent the earth,
Yeah.
and that was why I said I'm going to be careful what I say here. But that is coming. But that is linked in some strange way. It is linked back to that betrayal, Andy.
Okay.
So something to do with that betrayal is going to allow you to find the King of Wands. Okay?
Okay.
Maybe not directly from them, but something regarding that situation is going to lead you to the King of Wands. So I don't know whether it's saying the King of Wands is within your circle of friends already,
Right.
but when when you get rid of the chaff, what's left is where your King of Wands is going to come from.
Okay.
Okay, and I don't want to say too much to that on everybody here because that's somewhat personal to what Andy's doing. Your final outcome is really interesting because see that person standing on the bench,
Uh-huh.
that is saying Tommy,
Right.
okay? And there's two people looking on there, and I see that as you and Becky,
Right.
right? So what you two currently look for is going to come to fruition, linking back to the King of Wands. It's going to be a success
Okay.
because I see that as like a little impy type, little cheeky type chappy dancing around on the table. So that's who he made me think of the minute I saw it. And the two looking on are you and Becky, almost like parents.
Okay.
Okay? But because it links back to the King of Wands, that is telling me that the King of Wands is the key to getting that final outcome. And this is coming soon. This is definitely coming soon, Andy. This is within 6 months. It's got to be.
Well, let's hope it is, because I'm running out of time.
Yeah, it is. But it's that present card that I really don't like. That upside down.
Yeah. Well, considering, certain circumstances lately, I can understand it.
But I don't think it relates to him.
No.
It's something else. It's within your social circle.
Yeah.
There's a betrayal there somewhere, or somebody isn't exactly what they say they are. Okay.
Yeah.
So just be aware of it. But something from that situation is going to lead on to the King of Wands. And I ain't saying it's directly going to be related to it, but something concerning that situation is going to lead on to you finding. You're welcome, little Smalls. He's gonna lead you to find the King of Wands. And what you're seeking for is going to be successful once you've found that King of Wands.
Cool.
Because I'm definitely seeing you and Becky on the right and Tommy on the left. Okay?
Yeah.
But I will say something else. I'm seeing Tommy as something not quite what you expected.
Yeah.
There's gonna be a twist there. Not a negative twist. I just get the impression there's gonna be a positive twist there. You're gonna get even more than what you think you were gonna get.
Right.
Okay?
Okay.
There you go then. So I hope that helps. But it's just that second card I don't like, Andy, and I don't like the way it's upside down.
Yeah, it's very understandable, to be fair.
And I've literally gone through all my deck again, and everything is the right way up. And I literally checked it before I started doing the reading.
Right.
And I've just gone through it now. I've done your reading, and the Chariot is also upside down in the deck now. That was the right way round, just. So I don't know how that's happened, but just be aware of that one.
Yeah.
Because that one's current. Right, is that all the readings for the night?
That's it. We're all finished.
Welcome back, Sam. Right, we'll just go on to a general chat now, like we normally do. Oh, sorry, Coco, I didn't mean to sit on your legs. Can you just talk for a second, Andy, while I put the kettle on, because I am really dry-throated.
Yeah, no worries.
If anybody would like to ask Andy any questions while I'm gone, feel free.
Yeah, please do.
If Joanne's in here, God help you, if she's
Yeah.
still here. Right, I'll start with the first one, Andy, to get you something to chat about.
I'll go on.
With all the fires that are going on in Australia at the moment, they've estimated that there's 500,000 animals died already.
Yeah.
Do you think if it got too much that the Fae might intercede? Or maybe they have already in ways that people aren't realising?
I think we kind of touched on that other day when we talked about were it a natural sort of thing or not. Because there's a bit of both going on.
Yeah, yeah.
Right,
I'll let you carry on while I go and put the kettle on.
Yeah. That sound. I reckon there wouldn't, because especially with some natural occurrence to it, they don't tend to get involved really with stuff like that. It's really odd. Oh, hello. I've got another shot of Brett's box. I have heard though that bloody Irwin family have rescued quite a lot. I've just read a post on Facebook not long ago. Multiple thousands have managed to rescue, which is really, really good of them. Oh, really, Joanne? Yeah, they could do with an absolute mega downpour. I think that's what we really could do with that.
Alexa, turn on bathroom light.
Don't forget to flush.
Oh dear. Yeah, I agree. Small snails. I'll call you snails. Yeah, I know a lot of Wiccan and pagan and witchcrafty groups have been trying to club together to try and help, do a weather spell to get some rain coming in and stuff like that. I've been seeing a lot of that. Thing is though, right, we don't know if it's just through his headphones that we can hear him. If he got his proper speakers on, I'll try it.
I'm back. Couldn't you keep the conversation going?
You are?
Couldn't you keep the conversation going?
Yeah, we've just been talking about Australia.
Oh, right. I've got something, I know what I was going to ask you. That forest in Romania that I can never remember the name of, and it never sounds like a Romanian forest.
I hear that true.
Yeah, it always sounds Japanese to me, I don't know why.
It does. Yeah, it does.
With things like the burning mist that they keep reporting there, and this thing about people disappearing and not returning for like years, what do you think is actually going on there? Because you've also got the deformed trees as well, ain't you?
Yeah, there's a multitude of stuff, isn't there?
Mm-hmm.
I think well, I would definitely peg some of our sort of stuff going on there.
Yeah.
But you know them trees
Yeah.
are they've grown right strange and that.
Yeah.
We've actually you know down near the Secret Fairy Garden.
Yeah.
If you go in to right hand side before that little small lake,
Yeah.
we've got someone doing the same thing down there.
Yeah, we were going to go there, weren't we? But it was too muddy the
Yeah.
last time we were up there.
Yeah.
See, because for people who don't know, there's this forest in Romania and there's an awful lot going on there. Yeah, I'm just about to explain it, Lee. What's it called again, Andy?
Ayabatchu.
Ayabatchu. It doesn't sound Eastern European at all. It sounds Japanese to me. Right, there's a number of things that are apparently going on in this forest, and it's quite a few number of things. One is the trees are all growing in a really strange manner. They're like, well, they're almost growing like U-shaped in there, Andy.
Yeah.
With
Like
really
all sorts of
strange
shapes.
bulbous growths and stuff on them. Really strange. That's the first thing that's happening. The other thing that people are reporting a lot of in there is that there's an actual mist forming in the forest that if people come into contact with, it's physically burning them like a fire. There's been a number of burnings in there. There are UFO sightings in there, strange lights, all sorts of things like that going on. But the really interesting one is the missing persons one. Andy, do you want to outline what happened there?
Well, I think most famous one was a young girl.
Yep.
She went into the forest, didn't she? And then she disappeared. Well, how many years was it now? I can't quite remember the number. Wait, 5 or 10 years.
5, I think it was. Can you ask
5.
Becky to type the name of the forest in chat so people?
Yeah, Becky, type name at forest in chat. Yeah, so she disappeared for like 5 years, and then when she finally turned back up, she turned back up same age, and all her clothes were pristine.
And she was actually wearing exactly what she'd left in 5 years before.
Yeah.
You know, and this little girl disappearing in the woods and coming back is not the only time it's happened.
There's been a few, hasn't there?
Yeah, but it is a very interesting region of Romania because, like I say, there's been no end of people reported this burning mist, and it literally just appears in front of people, and if it touches them, it literally burns them like fire. The trees, if you look it up on the internet and look at the trees are creepy as hell. They grow in all sorts of twisted forms, and a lot of them have got these like huge bulbous growths at the base of the trunks and stuff, ain't they, Andy?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But it's the missing person cases that are really interesting. Hi, Fee. Hope you're okay.
Like,
How's Australia doing today? Go on, Andy.
Yeah, there's like people come across people as well that's been like, how do I get to the city and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And they'll show them pathway, and say, oh, take that down there and blah blah blah. I'll turn around and they're just gone.
Yeah.
There's shadow figures and little figures and will-o'-the-wisp lights, and there's a bit of everything going on in there. But there's like on northern part of the forest, there's like a circle.
Yeah, Tracy's just mentioned it in the chat.
Yeah, a circle of trees. It's just like an opening, and apparently, what a lot of people that camp out in that circle or opening is where they get a lot of UFO photography.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the circle in the forest is really, really interesting because it literally is, and it is a perfect circle in it, Andy.
Yeah, more or less, yeah.
Literally of just dead land, nothing. Yeah, I've coloured it in. I'm doing oak leaves tomorrow on the sides and top, and then it's ready to be varnished. Then I've ordered a pentacle off eBay, which could take anything up to 2 weeks to come because I'm having it laser cut. and it's actually going to sit over that. I've had it custom made, and it's going to sit over that circle to make it a perfect circle. And then Andy gave me a genuine 4-leaf clover on a piece of on a wooden disc, and that's going to be stuck in the middle of the pentacle. So my little leprechaun is going to be looking at a 4-leaf clover.
That's really cool.
Oh, good, as long as she's okay, Fee. It's alright. Fee is Australian, everybody, and a friend Julie, whose channel I go on. Julie and Julie's parents says he's literally in the path of the fire at the moment, so we're all keeping our fingers crossed for him. A perfect circle, a good rock band. Yeah, it honestly, Little Smalls, it's an amazing place. There's a bit of everything goes on in there, UFOs and everything. I think the only thing I ain't heard mentioned in there is anything cryptid related. Have you heard anything cryptid relating to it?
No, I haven't.
Tracy, I had to get her to chat about. I tried to get her to chat about it, but I mentioned the forest and the colour drain from her face, and she refused to talk about it. Is that your friend who lives locally to it, Tracy? Because I know it has got quite a reputation amongst the people who live close to it. A lot of them refuse to go in there, don't they?
Yeah.
Vicky, just if you're in the chat, you just mass up points every 5 minutes, and if you type in chat, you get more points. I had something Stranger Trees happening too. It was so creepy that I still can't get it out of my mind. If you type in chat what happened, Hell of a Human, Andy might have a possible explanation for it. He's our resident tree and fae expert.
But yeah, I'd love to go to that forest.
Yeah, I would. If I got a bit of money, I think that's where I'd go. To go, just to go and investigate the place, because there is so much going on in there. The only thing I wouldn't want to encounter is the mist.
Well, yeah, you don't want to be burnt up, really.
Yeah, and from what I've read on it, it's not chemical burns they get. It is literally like they're being burnt by fire. That is what's really interesting about it. Crazy shit, but I used to have dreams where I felt like I was taken on a spaceship or some out of the ordinary ship, and kept on this ship for a couple of hours and then was released back home. It was almost a real life experience. Well, I actually know of quite a famous abductee from the UK, Lil Smalls, and that is literally exactly how she described her first few encounters, where she used to think it was a dream until she got older, and then it happened more and more. So, who knows? It might be worthwhile writing them down. Oh, that's nice, Selena. Selena says she got a small 4-leaf clover stitched into the daughter's christening dress.
Alright.
Yeah, what you want to do with things like that, Lil Smalls, is write them down in a book. Oh, it's your brother's girlfriend, Tracy. That's interesting. But I know it is famous among a lot of Romanians, especially the people who live near it. They're absolutely terrified of the place. A lot of them won't even go in it. I don't know how to explain it, but it was like it really happened. And I would experience this more than once. Might be worth visiting an hypnotist and seeing if you can get some regression hypnotism done, see what comes out.
I've always wanted a bit of that doing myself.
See, I have, but I've got a bit of a vivid imagination, and I do wonder what my imagination would conjure up.
Yeah.
I don't know how to explain it, but it was like it really happened. Yeah, it is. Like I say, that person who I know, and I've known her for 30 years now, maybe a bit longer, and she always said that was how it started with her, and she used to think it was bad dreams she was having. And it turned out it was actually, she claims she's been abducted on and off since she was 5 years old, and she's 55 now, something like that. Well, I was around 12 years old and hanging with my old classmates at school. A friend of mine got called to some girls freaking out and, of course, followed. We went to this garden type thing. Yeah, don't surprise me, Tracy, because it's, you know, Eastern European, a lot of Eastern Europeans are extremely superstitious anyway. You know, and that's where your true gypsies come from, Romania, and they're full of superstition. So I can understand it. So I'm just waiting for all hell of a human to finish off his story about his garden. Elizabeth is forming a group for a paranormal. Oh, it's normally Maureen. Has Maureen run out of points again? I don't even play the games anymore. I ain't got time to play them while I'm chatting and stuff.
Nah, you haven't.
But yeah, I've coloured my spirit box in so you can see the trees a bit more clearer now, and Meow stands out, and he's a little ginger-haired leprechaun. What you laughing at?
Nothing.
You am. What were you laughing at?
I'm sure you said that so you can see him that me all stands out a bit more.
Owl.
Oh, okay.
We do tend to drop our H's from the Black Country. Or add them where they shouldn't be. Yeah, she's Romanian. So what type of garden thing was it, hell of a human? Oh, right, here we go. We usually went there because we were basically unsupervised there because of all the trees surrounding it. They showed us their drawing book, and every single time you went back to certain pages... Tracy says there's an eye static now. People do, Tracy. Wait till... I don't know if Maureen's on at the moment or not, but you wait till Maureen starts. It's like bingo weekend every time Maureen's in. Yeah, I've got some more to put on tomorrow. I'm doing some oak leaves with acorns on the top, and then some smaller versions of it down the side, and then it's ready to be varnished. Then I've just got to be careful when I varnish it because of that centre speaker, because I don't want to get none on that black thing. I think we've still got a little bit more of Hell of a Human's story to come yet.
Yeah.
Brett Andy, do you think emotional vampires exist? I have heard stories in the past where people have said that they've experienced entities that have sucked on their emotions, yeah? Can't say I've ever personally experienced one, but I am aware of the, there are reports out there where people say, they felt like they've had the happiness and stuff sucked out of them. So, and if people are prepared to believe that there's creatures out there who suck blood, why not ones on an energy level that can, or an emotional level that could suck emotions? Who knows?
Maybe so, yeah.
As mentioned at the very beginning, the whole of Baku Forest is located near Transylvania. The place is, yeah, exactly. What kind of evidence would be needed for people to say spirits, ghosts are actually real? I think it would need like somebody like Einstein to come back in ghost form in front of thousands of people and just start rattling stuff off. It would have to be something that was witnessed by thousands now, because it's so easy to fake visual stuff nowadays. The faces of the drawings would change and make up, would appear and disappear out of nowhere. Then they decided to call the cousin who actually owned the book an ecstatic. What does that sound like to you, Andy? Faces changing in a book? In the garden? I posted a link on the forest and some interesting facts on it. I don't think it allows anybody who ain't a mod to post links. I don't think. Caught properly on video for me, Slink. Yeah, for me, Selena, it would have to, it would have to be witnessed by a very large amount of people in a live environment. You know, I wouldn't believe anything I saw on video now. Or I wouldn't, I wouldn't take it at face value anyway. There'd have to be corroborating evidence.
There'd have to be somebody really high profile as well, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah, it'd
mega.
yeah. That's why I said somebody like Einstein.
Yeah.
Finally, the name of the forest is an interesting story. It has been told that long ago a shepherd went inside the forest with 200 sheep. Yeah, that's right. That's who the forest's named after, the shepherd. The spirits of the houses are... To hurry things up, lol. A girl of the group suddenly had scars on her back, making up words like "leave us alone." Then the trees got a lot of those eyes, looking things everywhere. Oh, Christ, Andy, that sounds like the Unseelie.
It does, doesn't it? It very muchly does.
That sounds like a branch of the Fae hell of a human called the Unseelie Court, who are not very tolerant of human. Well, I won't say not very tolerant. They're totally intolerant of humans, basically. And especially, with the eyes in the trees and them scrawling on her. That does sound like something the Unseelie would probably do. Bit like the story about 3 girls who went up the Big Red Rock in Australia and was never seen again. What, Ayers Rock? Well, I hadn't heard of anybody disappearing off Ayers Rock.
Weren't that one at Seven Wonders at one point? Or is it still part of it?
No, I think the only surviving 7 wonder now is the pyramids, isn't it?
Is it?
Yeah. I think it's one of the natural... is it one of the natural wonders of the world?
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah, I think it's one of the natural wonders of the world, but the 7 wonders of the world, I think there's only the pyramids actually in existence. Because the lighthouse and the Library of Alexandria and the Hanging Gardens of Babylon have never been found as such, have they? Small says, I believe in spirits because I feel my mum's energy and hear her and see her. See, I believe that, life does continue after death. Andy doesn't.
No, I do. Just not in...
Yeah, but not in the form of ghosts.
It's like obviously for me, because life after death means life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It means reincarnation.
And Andy's a bit like off in the not in the fact he twiddles boxes, in the fact that he believes that you're only here for a certain time after you die and then you go somewhere nice or wherever. Whereas I believe it's a choice whether you go or not. Are you not gabbing, Vicky? And Vicky's put just listening. Lee lol. Maureen, yes, I'm still here, just been to loo, lol, Brett. Too much info, Maureen, get back to your gambling.
Get back gambling.
Oh, I'd never heard of that, Lee. Of three girls going missing at Ayers Rock. Well, it ain't actually called Ayers Rock now, is it? It's gone back to the Aboriginal name, but I don't know what it is. A girl I was friends with also got a vision where she said multiple words about something that we didn't even know would happen. It was about a school trip. She even named a bus we'd see there. You ever heard of the Fae actually imparting knowledge to people, Andy, of the future?
Oh, God, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I've read a little bit of it.
Can you ask them for next week's lottery numbers?
No.
It's no good then.
Not that kind of stuff.
Elizabeth says she believes life continues after death as well. See, I believe this, what people call the soul is like energy based. And I think when we die, that energy is released. And, I believe even when we're alive, we're connected to some kind of superconscious. And I think that's where we return back to when we die. And then we have the choice of if we want to come back or stay or whatever. Whereas Andy believes after, is it 48 hours you believe, Andy?
Well, 2 to 3 days, half time, yeah.
And then Andy believes you go back to the mass energy thing in it, Andy.
Yeah, get minced up and then you're straight back here.
Yeah, see, Andy believes you get minced up in it, whereas I believe you retain your consciousness, or you can choose to. Chris Williams, I had a vision yesterday. Right, what was your vision, Chris? About a huge guy smashing ice cubes with flames inside them, and flame floats away. That was good weed, Chris. That's the one, Tracy. Yeah, I'd never heard that about Ayers Rock. I'll have to look that up. Hell of a human. After the school trip and me having learned to stop fucking around by making up paranormal stories about the school, they decided to make peace with the spirit by writing a note, and I saw a spirit or full-bodied apparition face to face. So yeah, I did, Elizabeth, when I was um, when I was at the poltergeist episode, but I don't know what it was. I just know it looked like a person, and he lunged at me. It is. Should read up on it, because we're all connected with our energies. Yeah, that's what I believe, Little Smalls. I believe we're all connected to a super conscious. You know, and like Andy believes we go back to it and get minced up. I believe we go back to it and we can retain our, our individuality within it. Andy's all for recycling on all levels, including the soul.
I say I don't think it's a nice concept at all.
Sealing the dead with their blood. I was the only one not to do it. And I had seen those trees gain more and more ice for weeks after it. I'm also the only one to remember it so detailed. That's really interesting. Would the Unseelie ever demand a blood pact, Andy?
Some specific goblins would.
Because that's really interesting what he's saying there.
You know. Our blood's a pure like thing, innit? 'Cause a lot of blood rituals that are done and
Yeah.
blood sacrificing and sometimes there's no negative involved in it. It's
Yeah.
just
See,
pure form.
you can actually use blood in a lot of pagan rituals. It's actually it's actually used if you want to form a familiar. It's one of the ways you can do it. So it could be pact forming in some way. Hell of a human.
Yeah.
Chris says this weed makes me feel like I'm in a movie. Lol. Andy, when we die and meet our guide, is the guide actually a fae? Well, that's an interesting one. Here comes Joanne with the interesting questions.
That all depends. It obviously depends on what your class as guides, isn't it? There's many different sort of. Well, there's people out there that think they've got like famous deities, like that are once alive, like bloody Egyptian stuff and that. And then you've got people like me that believe, that some of my guides are part of Fae realm, But I would truly hope at point of death that they would show. Truthfully.
Mm-hmm. Right, Human says, ever since then, my Satanist and Wiccan neighbours tell me something looking like a shadow in person is stalking me. Have you got Satanist and Wiccan neighbours?
Yeah, we need to hope that that's not a clubbing together.
Yeah.
By your point of view, because it's two entirely different.
Yeah, I was going to say Satanism and Wiccan are two different things, unless you got like different neighbours telling you that. Elizabeth.
You know, they might have Satanists at one side and
yeah.
Wiccans at other.
Oh, I want to go and live there.
Battling.
I want to go and live there. The one I saw, Elizabeth says, the one I saw formed and walked towards me from 20 feet away. Got 5 feet away from me, then disappeared. The one I saw, Elizabeth, was floating on the ceiling 4 feet above me and lunged at me. Wasn't the most pleasant of experiences. And I have heard women cry, scream, and shout a lot before I moved out of that city. Cross, that sounds like a banshee.
Right.
Lol, yes, I am a bit bizarre. You always come up with the best questions, Joanne. Normally concerning fairy portals. Maureen says, what happens to evil people like Hitler when they die? Absolutely no idea, Maureen. A lot of people believe you create your own heaven or hell. So, for all we know, he could be living. He could be living in a reality where he won. For all we know, I had. They were a couple. So one was a Satanist and one was a Wiccan. That must have been an interesting relationship.
You just won't think they'd get along, would you?
Not really. You can actually tap into your spirit guides now. Meditation helps with this. See, I'm one of these people who's a bit on the fence about spirit guides. I believe that certain things will come and assist you when you need it, but I ain't 100% convinced you've got like ones that follow you around constantly. What's your opinion on that, Andy?
Yeah, I don't think it's like what the typical sense of it is. You know, how a lot of people go, they're always weird.
Mm-hmm.
Because I once read a theory that you've got like multiple levels of your own soul.
Yeah.
And it were interesting. And basically, your guide were a portion of just yourself that weren't inside vessel. You know.
Yeah. That's actually quite. That's quite an interesting concept, actually.
Yeah, I thought it was quite interesting. It's like I think they said there were like 3 sort of levels to portion before conscious mind connection.
Mm-hmm.
You know, really interesting stuff, and that you never know. It could be like that, you know. But we just don't know. Why they tell you they were like an Egyptian god or goddess, though, I don't know.
See, this is what does me a lot about spirit guides, because I believe you get various ones throughout your life. I believe they swap and change depending on what you need at the time. I don't believe you get one at birth, and because a lot of people believe you get one at birth and then you keep it your whole life, like Derek Acora with Sam, that kind of thing. I believe certain things come and help you. It's different phases of your life, but that's what always gets me. I cannot see why an Egyptian god or Cleopatra or whoever would want to come and be somebody's spirit guide. I just think those type are a bit delusional. Dare I say it? Hell of a human. I met the Wiccan's mother when I accidentally scared. Her death was the end of the healthy relationship between the Wiccan and Satanist. It got extremely toxic afterwards. I'm surprised it lasted any length of time at all if one was a Wiccan and one was a Satanist.
Yeah, definitely.
Selena says, I think we all have the ability to tap into our spirit guides, but most of us just don't know how to. That's an interesting thought, Selena. It's actually one that's upheld by the Spiritualist Church. That's another thing I always find interesting is in how many Native Americans, feel the need to come and be spirit guides in England. I just find the whole concept a little bit strange. I really do. But I definitely can't understand why Egyptian gods and stuff like and pharaohs and the likes of Cleopatra would want to come and be somebody's spirit guide. Hi, Bo. Day's been fine. Yes, Sam's put Sam. I believe we do and have guardians and protectors. See, little smalls, I don't believe in angels and demons, so that's another thing. I don't believe in guardian angels, but I ain't saying they don't exist. They're just something I personally don't believe in.
Believe in guardian elementals.
Yeah, I believe that angels and demons are something that were around before Christianity, and angels and demons are just the Christian take on them, is what I believe. Andy?
Yeah, I'm saying, like I just said, I think, everybody, if you go into witchcraft side of stuff and paganism, everybody is a sign for elementals,
Mm-hmm.
because that's what basis of life is,
Yep.
Um, and for all we know, they could be trying to show us signs and guiding us as well.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've read that, for example, us being smokers, we upset as air elementals because
Mm-hmm.
air that we're taking in is polluted by a cigarette smoke.
Yeah, but the fire elementals like us for it.
But the fire wouldn't like it. So
But
there's a
my,
bit of a
my,
balance
my,
going
my
on there.
fire elemental don't protect me from burning my fingerprint off the other day.
No, they'll probably enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna have to have a
But
word.
yeah,
I'm gonna have to have a word with my fire elemental. Let me burn my fingerprint off.
so for all we know, that the all sort of guide and eight guardian angel stuff could be a rewriting of that sort of basis. You know.
Have you seen what Sam's put there?
Yep.
Derek's spirit guide was me, Brett. He was talking to me through an earpiece.
Oh dear.
Yeah, I think Pete. I think when it comes to things like guides, I think people's personal beliefs probably have an impact on how they appear to you, because Pete, if somebody say Christian, they ain't gonna be very happy having a raw elemental appear to them. If you know what I mean. If a fire elemental appears to a Christian, them straight away gonna think it's a
A
demon or
demon.
some.
Yeah.
So I think they would adapt to appear to you in whatever form was acceptable to you
Yeah.
on for your personal belief system. Lee Guy says all nationalities are related. They are. We all sprang out of Africa originally. Tracy B, the first spirit guide I connected to at Development Circle was quite. I thought I put quite orny then, because the thing's scratched up, scrolled up as I was reading. I was going to say, what sort of spirit guides were you talking to, Tracy? The first spirit guide I connected to a Development Circle was quite funny. I was asked to give the first thing that came to mind, which was tomato. You had a tomato as a spirit guide. What is your opinion and take on star seeds and empaths? Um, See, I class myself as intuitive, but I can actually pick up on people's emotions. But I put that down to intuition rather than empathy. But I do believe there's people capable of stuff like that. I sincerely believe it.
I think a lot of people are quick to jump on the term though.
Yeah, yeah.
I've seen a lot of people who will never, ever fit the terminology and empath, but so
But
that they are.
it's the same with mediums.
Yeah.
There's so many armchair mediums out there, and it's scary sometimes, especially when you watch them and listen to them, and you think, if you've ever encountered a genuine medium, and I have been lucky, in my opinion, to have encountered an handful of genuine mediums, you would know a lot of people who sit there going, "Oh, I can sense this and I can sense that," are just so far off the mark with what genuine mediums do. They've got the most haunted opinion on what a medium is. I think if anybody wants to see genuine mediums at work, they need to get themselves into a good development circle at a spiritualist church. And I mean a good development circle, and then you may be lucky enough to occasionally encounter what I consider a good medium. Star seeds, I've heard the term but can't remember what they are. What are star seeds, Andy?
It's basically, I think it's basically that you've been kind of engineered a little bit more by aliens.
I believe
You
that
know,
happened. Yeah, I honestly believe that the human race has been genetically altered.
yeah.
But that's just my personal opinion.
So but like specific births,
Yeah,
like a lot of abductees when they have a bairn, like they'll have done something to implant a bit of their DNA
yeah,
into that
yeah,
specific child,
yeah,
and it'll grow up with certain abilities like
yeah,
them indigo children and all that.
yeah. Basically,
Yeah,
alien hybrids.
yeah, quite cool stuff to be fair.
All right. Tracy says, a few weeks later, she went to the spiritualist church and a friend drew him for me. Did he draw a tomato by any chance? He was Slovakian with a shock of ginger hair and the bushiest ginger beard ever.
Sounds like a leprechaun.
So he was, yeah. So he was forever called. Did he look like him on my box, Tracy? So he was forever called Tomato. Lee Guy, if there's such things as spirit guides, why don't they let everyone see them? See, Lee, I've often wondered that. I have often wondered that myself. You know, if they're here to guide us, why do they feel the need to hide? Because surely there's nothing we can do to them to harm them. That's a good point. Andy?
I reckon you've just got to look at all variables to it. Like there's some people that won't ever be able to do it either. They're so. I mean, I know this sounds really awful and crude, but a friend of mine and me used to talk about how you got people that just come across as like pod people.
Yeah.
That just ain't
Well,
got anything.
we know one of them.
Yeah, like a proper pod person.
Yeah.
And yeah, we do. Don't we? I just thought. And there's people out there that just ain't got an ounce. All they are is like on a repeat. Wake up, go to work, come home, have a drink, sleep, repeat.
Yeah.
No,
I think what Lee's asking is if everybody's got spirit guides, why can't everybody see everybody else's? I think that's what he's asking.
Oh, why can't you see everybody else's?
Yeah. Why do they feel the need to hide?
Are they hiding?
I don't know.
What I'm saying is it your ability, your perception, your indoctrination that's stopping you from seeing?
Yeah. See, I believe with a lot of the supernatural and the spiritual, there's got to be some element of belief there, and the same with the paranormal. I think your beliefs can and your expectations can have a big impact on the results you get. I don't know what your thoughts, Sam, on that, Andy.
Well, yeah.
I'm dying to ask this question, Tracy. How did you know he was Slovakian from a picture? I've been puzzling that for the last few minutes since I read it. Was he wearing a T-shirt with "I love Slovakia" on it? Or did he actually tell you he was Slovakian? Lil Small says, well, I think the ones... hang on, he scrolled up again. Hang on, I've got to go back up again. If one is willing to have their eyes open and want to tap into spiritual world, a lot can be shown to them. Yeah, I agree with that. Little Smalls, and I also believe that that carries right the way across the paranormal. It's like I say, if you go on an investigation with a negative attitude, I honestly think you increase your chances of encountering negative entities. What's your thoughts on that, Andy?
Well, so that again. What did you say?
You need to.
I was reading comments as you were talking.
I know. I'll keep doing it as well. I said I believe that you know, like your expectations can affect things in the paranormal. Like if you go on an investigation
Oh yeah.
expecting to see the negative, I think you increase your chances of attracting the
Oh
negative.
yeah. So, well, yeah, depending on what you do. Yeah.
Yeah, I do think it can have an impact. Bo says, I don't believe spirits are linear. They can move where and when they want to. So if a Native American spirit wants to go over the water to guide someone, yeah, I do believe that they're not. I do believe that they're not ground to a certain place. We were discussing this the other night, and I said, I believe that I don't necessarily believe you have to go to a specific location to speak to a specific um, spirit. But my problem with spirit guides is a lot of people always claim they've got Native American ones or ancient Chinese ones, seems to, or Tibetan monks. It's like they deliberately try and pick spiritually known, you know, either races or belief systems, as in the Tibetan monks and Native Americans. Why don't everybody just have run of the mill everyday Europeans, or you very rarely hear of anybody who's just got, say, some woman from India who raised a family and died, and you never hear of them coming back as spirit guides very often. They're always Native American, or they're always uh, you know Ra or bloody Isis or whatever, or Cleopatra. And I do believe that the genuine mediums do have spirit guides, but I think a lot of people just think it's fashionable to make them up and claim that they've got Native American spirit guides or Tibetan monks or whatever. I'm being a bit controversial here, ain't I?
It's all is though, innit? It's all
Yeah,
is a little bit.
yeah.
It's like if I were to give my fully true thoughts, I'd just come across as a complete dick. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Selena says, Lee, you need to know how to use your middle eye. I think Lee's, quite knowledgeable on how to use his third eye. It's the fourth one between his other two that he ain't mastered yet.
Dear.
Lil Small says, if one is willing to have their eyes open and want to tap into the spiritual world, a lot can be shown to them. Yeah. See, when I was 15, Little Smalls, I actually started with a development circle at my local spiritualist church, and I still do hold some beliefs from the spiritualist church, but the problem for me was I couldn't associate myself with the God that they did. So their extended practices I do still believe in things like reaching out. It is possible to reach out and communicate, but I don't believe in the God side of the spiritualist church things. I've got my own set of beliefs where gods and things are concerned. But I don't believe spirit. Oh yeah, we've read that bit. Sam says that's what happens when you buy cheap earpieces. I tell me Mary loves Derek, but he misheard me with bad quality sound. You're being naughty tonight, Sam. I feel like I can tap into people's emotions and can sense the energy in a room. I tend to find that I can walk into a room and sense, whether it's got a good or bad feeling about it. And the one thing I am a bugger for is meeting somebody and instantly knowing within about 5 seconds whether I'm going to like them or not. And 9 times out of 10, I do prove to be, not all the while. There has been times where I've met somebody and I thought, oh, they're okay, and they've turned out to be a complete twat. And there's other times I've met who I thought was a complete twat, and then they've turned out to be okay. But I'll say 9 times out of 10, my first impressions of somebody, and I'll make them instantly, tend to be right. And I suppose I'm a bit judgmental, and I shouldn't really, but I do tend to go on my instinct and intuition a lot. I've learned to trust it. Um, Lil Small says Rio. Don't know what that means. Room. Starseed, another world or dimension. Yeah, I do, but I do believe. I've had many arguments on here with people who don't believe in aliens and alien abduction. I am a I am a firm believer in life on other worlds, and I do believe that they've been here, and I do believe that they have interfered with us as a species in the past, and I do believe they're probably still doing so. Andy?
Oh god, yeah. Yeah, I'm all up for that.
Yeah. And for me, one of the biggest, one of the biggest um, pushes for me in that is the missing link, because we've found species that go back over 4 million years that are early humans, and then we've found species that go back to when we were more primate, more like the apes, but there's that big gap in the middle. So why aren't we finding those things in the middle? And the only reason I can think we're not finding something to link the two is because we were genetically altered literally instantly from the one to the other. So that's why I believe that we've been genetically altered, and I believe that's why they're still coming here. I think we're either one big science experiment, or we're in some way important to them on their level. I also believe in telepathy and being able to experience it and tap into it. I do. I believe in telepathy. Lil Smalls. Andy?
Yeah.
You're really contributing tonight. Yep.
Yeah.
Tracy says no, he didn't, lol. I don't know who Tracy's saying no, he didn't, lol. Chris is saying excuse me, lol. You got there in the end. Human says, Little Smalls, do you sometimes feel where someone is looking without you facing them? Because the energies and that is right. Do you ever get that, Andy, that somebody's looking at you when you ain't looking?
I have experienced it in past, yeah.
I do
Yeah.
quite a lot, and you turn round and they are looking at you.
Yeah. It's apparently quite common, isn't it?
Mm. I experience it quite a lot, but is that instinct? Is that some kind of primal thing, or is it something?
One of them.
Because I ain't aware of anybody ever studying it scientifically. But
Yeah, there has been.
Oh, was
There
there?
has been.
I'll have to look that up. Because it is quite a common phenomenon, and when you say you feel somebody's eyes on the back of your neck.
Yeah.
And it is something I've experienced myself quite a lot.
They were trying experiments along that line with Native Americans, back in war.
Were they?
And what they'd do is that, because obviously Native Americans believe that long hair is like a spiritual antenna.
Mm-hmm.
So they could pick up on, like what they'd do. They were trialing things and like laying them in these tents, like, and letting them go to sleep.
Yeah.
And then they set up like random exercises where they'd like go and creep up on tents, and apparently the new ones were coming and they were looking at them and stuff.
All right.
But then what they did, what were interesting, they shaved all their hair off, as for experiment, and they lost some of their abilities.
So they think the long hair had something to do with it.
Yeah.
Do you think your hair could act like an aerial?
Yeah.
In some way.
That's kind of, and I think that's why a lot of people, I think that's why dreadlocks are a bit of a spiritual thing as well.
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah.
Lil Small says they don't hide though. You have to be willing to let them in, but that's just my opinion. Yeah, I agree, Little Smalls. But I do believe, you need to do your own work before you invite anything in. Because, not everything out there is what it first claims to be. Chris says like a jumbled word hidden in plain sight. Oh, I wish this had stopped scrolling up. I hate this chat. It should freeze when you're on a certain thing.
Should be able to pause it.
Yeah. You'd think when you scroll it to a certain thing, it'd stop. I've got to scroll up. Um, Yep, I agree, Brett. How do we really know? You'll have to excuse me if I've missed some bits because it just scrolls up that fast. Elizabeth says, lol, Brett. Ha ha, Brett. I don't know what they're laughing at because I'm so behind in the chat. Sam says, with energy, I think the highlight of last year for me was asking for a light anomaly to show if there is a presence, and just then a flickering light shipped up the room. I presume that's lit up the room, Sam. Tracy B, same for me, Brett. That's why I stopped going to spit. Same here, it was for me, Tracy. You know, I could accept the spiritual side of it, but not the religious side of it. You know, it was just it just don't fit with my belief system. The practical side of it did, but not the belief system as such. Lil Smith, so yeah, I had to stop going to church. I was going to. Chris says, I'm alright now, am I, Brett Lol? What? I stopped going to spooky church when I was about 50. I actually find churches quite unnerving. I would consider myself more of a spiritual person. Well, I find them quite intimidating. Christian churches. I don't really find them welcoming places. I don't know about you, Andy. I find them quite intimidating and quite threatening in their imagery and stuff.
Yeah. You see, I respect some architecture on them, you know, because, you know, decent work on that, on some real.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But at the same time, I'm not, you know, it's a bit.
Mhm. I stopped going to spook. I've read that one. I consider myself more of a spiritual person. That was Little Smalls. Selena, you okay, Chris? Little Smalls. Oh my God, me too. Elizabeth, I'm the same. Brett, I meet someone and say within 30 seconds if I like them or not. My gut tells me if they're good. That's exactly how I am, Elizabeth. And I know I shouldn't be, but like I say, 9 times out of 10, I do tend to be okay with whichever way I jump. But you know, I do admit I have been wrong. Little Small says I can tap into that too. Uh, Chris Williams says, lol, Selena, just a joke. Tracy's Oyston. Lil Small's same. Lee Guy says, defo aliens are with us. Yeah, I believe they are. I believe they walk amongst us now, Lee. You know, you know, I'm a firm believer in the alien hybrid theory. Hell of a human. I stopped going to church after communion. Every fibre of my body said run, and so I ripped the next letter for officially joining the Catholic Church. My dad was excommunicated from the Catholic Church for marrying in a Church of England lot. He did. He went to when he married my mum because my nan insisted they got married in the Church of England church because my mum's Church of England, and my dad came from a very strict Catholic family. So my dad went to the priest of his local church, you know, to get his blessing, and he excommunicated him on the spot.
Wow.
Mhm.
So, right, this might seem really dumb, right, but honestly, I wouldn't know because I've never really been a religious person.
Mhm.
So why do they not like get along?
I've no idea because I've never really followed it.
So
And like I
you
say,
wouldn't know either.
now I weren't christened Catholic. I was christened Church of England, but neither of my parents were ever really religious. I think we were christened
So, I mean,
more for for my nan's benefit than my mum and dad's.
yeah, because obviously they've got a similar sort of belief system,
Yeah,
but
I think it's
they
all.
really don't.
I think it's to do with because it was Henry VIII wanted he formed his own church
Right.
to break away from the Catholic because it was only the Catholic Church up until then, and then
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it was Henry VIII wasn't it when he broke away from the rule of Rome. I think that's what started it all off.
Right.
Lil Small thinks, oh my God, I think that too. I feel like we are one big science experience. We could very well be, Lil Smalls. You know, it's one explanation as to what's going on regarding aliens and stuff like that. Elizabeth says it's your spider senses going into action. It is Elizabeth. Bo says, unlike EMF, infrasound doesn't seem to have the same effects like hallucinations. Have you a theory as to why more people don't use it in the paranormal? It's probably because infrasound. Nobody's really making anything at the moment that the investigators can actually improvise to use. Do they, Andy? You know, because EMF
No.
meters were easy to get hold of because, you know, electricians used them and they were cheap. But
Yeah.
I can't think of anything out there that... Can you think of any infrasound devices that
Nope.
could be converted? See, I think if there was an item that was commonly used, you know, in a trade or something that used infrasound, I think we'd probably, you know, a lot more people would use it. But because there's no real paranormal equipment that's made specifically for the paranormal, we've had to improvise with things that are, you know, on the market already and fairly cheap, and we adapt them. You know, if somebody comes up with a use for infrasound in the, you know, in the house and stuff, and they start making cheap devices, I think then a lot more investigators will probably start improvising with it. Stephen says maybe the person fancies you. BCAS were all psychic. Lol, Smalls banging on the glass, code red in quarantine zone 5. Selena, oh god, you scrolled up again. Hang on, Selena, I'll get back to what you said. This chat is really pissing me off. Was that Selena's? Oh, here we are. We're back to Selena. Lots of people say to me, I have read their thoughts, or will say, I was just going to say that. Can you read my mind? I think some people have got the ability to do it. You know, but how they're doing it, I couldn't tell you. Like the movie The Truman Show, could be we're all experience. Exactly. Exactly. There's even a theory, Lil Smalls, that we're all living on a prison planet. Ain't there, Andy?
Yes.
You know, but for me, I couldn't see an advanced race doing that to us because they'd be punishing the innocent as well as the guilty. You know, because all the people on the planet who were guilty would be long since dead. Who were put here for whatever reason. So that's why that theory don't stick with me. Because I
All
can't...
the time
Go on.
it kind of makes sense. You know, if it were like Matrixy, where you were being plugged in, which gives like lent to, you know, simulation. If that were prison, do you know what I mean?
Say that again.
So right, so you know, like Matrix, how they're plugged into mainframe,
Yeah.
and they're all living a simulation.
Yeah.
Well, that could be the prison basis.
Oh, right, yeah.
So all new births
Yeah.
in this are all new inmates that are just coming in,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And I was talking about this with Becky because I was like, it could be basis for a really good book, right? And basically, you know, like people that live to a ripe old age
Yeah.
are serving the full time.
Mm-hmm.
But I know this might sound awful, but it does like food for thought. The people who die young have got the parole, you know,
Yeah.
in this prison simulation.
So you think, you know, it's a continuing thing, and when people are sentenced, they're plugged in and suddenly born as babies and go that way? Yeah, I suppose it could.
It'd make a really cool film. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? That,
Yeah.
you know, as a theory of film, it'd be really cool.
Yeah. Hell of a human. Oh, lol, I didn't mean the person looking at me. I meant when a person is, for example, looking at a child and you immediately feel all of those red alerts, then you turn around and bam. Yeah, human, possibly. Great movie, by the way. Elizabeth's getting into the gambling as much as Maureen now. Chris, heirs to raise when our inner attention being alarmed subtly, yeah. Well, they do say, don't they, in certain situations your hair stands up on end and, you know. It's a physiological response in it, but what is actually triggering it? Me and my missus loads of times go to say the same thing, and we also finish each other's sentences at times. Ugh. That's a sickly sweet relationship. Mind you, a lot of people do, don't they? You know, is it that, you know, when if you're that emotionally connected with another person, can it be that your brainwaves start to sync in some way? You know, could that be the reason?
Yeah, yeah.
You never know. You know, there's so many theories on what could be causing these things. Lee, then she's your soulmate, or your brainwaves have just synced. Lil, agree on that. Do you do your homework before trying to connect to any spirits? Yeah, totally agree. Totally agree. Lee guy. Oh, that's cool then. Elizabeth's gambling again. So is Joanne and Maureen and Human. Jesus Christ, they've all turned into right. Little Smalls. There is one presence, one mind, one spirit, and one life source, which is divine love. This law unifies all people, places, and things, and it is the interconnectedness of all life, past and present. I do believe that there is a common consciousness. I really do. Whether it's based, for me, I don't think it's just based on love. You know, because there's a lot of nastiness and stuff like that. I think it just wants to experience everything, and I think, you know, it creates situations so it can experience everything. See, Andy's got an interesting theory. Tell him your theory, Andy.
What about the Earth?
Yeah.
Yeah, so one of my theories is, and this is all based on research from Faye and stuff like that, is that the Earth wanted to have an experience of itself. Yeah,
Mhm.
that the Earth has got a consciousness and it can pull pieces of itself off,
Yeah.
and eventually that become all living things on planet.
Mhm.
So basically, the source is the Earth itself. It didn't quite anticipate what it was going to do to itself,
Yeah.
and this is why it will intervene and wipe its slate clean if it needs to.
See, I'm a big believer in the Gaia theory. I really am. I believe that the planet has got you know, there is a consciousness and everything is interconnected. And if we tip the balance too far, the planet will rectify the problem, and that will be us. I honestly
Yeah.
believe that, and I do believe it will be a conscious effort on the by the planet itself. Oh, little small thing carried on in future. You are energetically connected to all of life. Your individual conscious mind is connected subconsciously to the subjective mind, which is connected to the collective conscious and all the cosmic conscious. You are the divine individual and the universe co-created in the most brilliant way. Yeah, I do believe we're all part of a central conscious. Um, I don't necessarily agree. I don't necessarily agree it's based on love. What is it? Love and light, because I think it wants to experience all sorts of things. But and that's why I think a lot of people, when they're close to death, suddenly can reach out to people who've already gone or see things, because I think as you get closer to death, I think the mind's ability to connect to it becomes easier for whatever reason. Hell of a human. I don't name that stuff. We are what we are, and we don't know what we are exactly. Nothing's proven in this world, and this is what's so great about the paranormal. There can be a billion theories out there until we die. Nobody knows for certain. You know, we could all die tomorrow, and then we'll all find out together. But you know, or we could die tomorrow and just not know we've died. We could just suddenly get to sleep one night and just stop existing. And if that's the case, you wouldn't know anyway, would you?
Oh, you wouldn't, would you?
So I'm just wading through all the gambling. Lil Small says she wants to think on that theory. Never thought about that. Joanne says, Andy, do you think the Fae have been here since the beginning of time?
Yes. I think they were the first, creation to look after Earth.
And do you believe the Earth created them?
I don't know. There's a bit of a missing link there
Mm-hmm.
for me personally. Because if Earth created them, then they'd be the same as us. I don't know. It's a bit weird.
Why would they be the same as us, though?
Well, there would be, because if it were creating things off from itself,
Mm-hmm.
they'd be very, very similar. Well, they are in most respects, but no, I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah, but
There's a missing link.
if you think about it, we're nothing like leopards or lions, and couldn't it just be the Earth's created a diversity to, it's another way of experiencing everything, isn't it?
Well, I suppose.
Because animals experience things more on an instinctual level, whereas
Yeah.
we tend to experience things on a more intellectual level. Who's to say the Fae weren't created to experience things on a more energy-based level?
Yeah.
Joanne says so the Fae would have seen the actual creation. I don't think they would, Joanne. Because the Earth didn't create overnight. It was dust collecting in space and getting bigger, as far as I'm concerned. What's your belief on how the Earth was created, Andy?
I don't know. I don't believe general theories. I think it's something we possibly could never understand.
Mm-hmm. Because the universe itself is still expanding, and will carry on expanding until it runs out of whatever. Until the stars will eventually burn out. But at one point, the popular theory was when that happened, the Earth would continue, the universe would start to contract. Now they're saying they think it could still carry on growing instead, but the centre of it would be dead.
How do they know this stuff, though?
Well,
It's weird, isn't it?
they can work out roughly what with a star how long it's going to burn, because they're basically fusion reactors, ain't they, stars? So they can pretty much gather. They can estimate by the size of a star how much fuel it's got. But it ain't the planets that'll die. It's the stars that'll die, and when the stars die, the planets go with them, sort of thing. The planets will still be here, or them that don't get swallowed up by, red dwarfs or anything. But they'll have no light or nothing. The universe will just go dark. Joanne says. Stephen says you should listen to the song Bible from the group Ghost. Oh, I'll stay clear of anything with the word Bible in it, Stephen. Maureen says, I think you missed my question. I will ask again just in case. What do you think of the Illuminati? Oh, interesting question, Maureen. I do believe that there is... I don't believe that we are actually controlled by the governments we think we're controlled by. I do believe that the entire planet is controlled by the super rich. Because money does talk. Whether they are called the Illuminati or not, I do not know. But I do believe there is like a super government of the super rich. Andy?
Yeah, more or less same. But I think the whole Illuminati thing were made up as like a sidestep for people to eventually follow it, but it's like misleading what's actually going on.
Mm-hmm.
Because let's face it, if they wouldn't want us to know what they were actually doing.
No.
And we'd never get to find out.
Yeah.
I don't care who whistleblowers are and stuff like that, because there's even talks that some of them are actually set up.
Yeah.
We would never get to find out the real thing that's going on.
Yeah.
It might have started out as that, but they change it. They won't carry on with it.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Joanne says, "Seems to me the Earth is unique and different to other planets we know of." There's an equation out there, Joanne, called the Drake equation, and it takes in 7 different factors, including the ability to transmit off planet. And that equation has estimated in our galaxy alone there should be at least 10,000 other planets like Earth with life on them intelligent enough to broadcast off planet. So whether it's true, yeah, and that figure ranges from 10,000 to 1,000,000. So but at the most conservative estimate, it is 10,000. So I don't.
Always,
I think Earth is far from unique
it always comes back to the question though. So why aren't we getting out?
because they're probably too far out for us to get anything at the moment. And the size of space, you've got to be so precise in pointing that radio signal in the right direction for it to reach without before it decays.
Yeah, I just can't swallow it, me. I don't know why. I've just always had, I can't even swallow the fact that NASA's got capability to see all these bloody things, these like, things billions of light years away with a telescope. I just
Yeah.
can't swallow it at all.
Seeing what you got to remember, the light you're seeing through a telescope could be millions of years old. Because that's how long it takes for it to travel the distances across space.
We are to being up there properly.
See, I honestly don't believe we have ever set foot on the moon.
Nope.
I honestly think it was staged because America and Russia were in the race to get there first, and to do it, they both tried to fake it. You've got the Van Allen belt and stuff like that. There's just so many things that go against them actually getting there, and they got there on with the computing power less than a modern calculator, and for me, that just don't ring true.
No.
With the technology now, it should be 100 times easier to get to the moon, not more
Well,
difficult.
technology and amount of money
Yeah,
as well compared to back then.
yeah, yeah.
It's vast now, and yeah,
And that's why I think they've never got there. I don't think they've worked out how to get through the Van Allen belt safely, to be honest with you.
well, they've admitted it. They've admitted it, haven't they?
Yeah, well, they're claiming they got through in 50 odd minutes, so they don't get an high enough dosage. But for me, that just don't ring true.
Yeah, basically a tinfoil ship and all.
Yeah, yeah, which was basically what it was. Because
Yeah.
they couldn't line it with lead or nothing because weight was critical.
Yeah.
Human says maybe it isn't actually unique. There might be multiple, but we haven't reached the level to look that far yet. See, and that's just the known universe. If you believe in alternate realities and dimensions, which I do, there could, of the Earth alone, there could be billions of possibilities of Earth, all existing in different dimensions. All you need to create a different dimension is for one flower to be different in a field, and you've got a different reality then.
Do you think they're up to some dodgy stuff with that collider?
Yes. Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I do.
It's a bit strange how they've got that is it an Indian god statue outside of it.
I can't remember what it is. I know what you're on about, but I can't remember what it is.
Yeah, it's got a death and new beginnings or something, isn't it?
Yeah.
Really odd thing to have outside of that.
Yeah.
And,
And it was funny how much money was thrown at that project and how quick it was actually put together.
yeah.
It was like it was almost like it was done in a rush
Yeah.
for whatever
But
reason.
apparently, obviously I don't know if there's any truth to it, but by all accounts, there's a sealed room in there. Because when they did one at Collidings, some manifested, a physical object manifested.
Did it?
Yeah, and they contained it in a room,
Right.
right? And they've never seen what it is. All they've done is done some sonar things, and they can see that there's an object in there that's come from nothing,
Mm-hmm.
and they've never been in and had a look at it. because they can't, because they don't know what's going to happen if they open it up.
Yeah, for all they know, it could be antimatter.
Hell, this is it.
Joanne says if she was an alien, she would certainly pay a visit to the blue marble Earth seen in space. But they may have seen thousands of blue marbles in space, Joanne. You know, if they're capable of travelling across space, and I personally believe, if my belief is they are either travelling via dimensional gates or wormholes, or they have got some kind of space folding technology, because physicists on Earth have now proven that folding space is technically possible. And if there's races out there nearer the centre of the galaxy, they will be millions of years older than us. They will have millions of years of advancement on us. If they ever visit here, we'd be like ants to them. We wouldn't be able. There wouldn't be none of this bloody Independence Day where we could fight them off. Their technology would be so far advanced, they'd be able to wipe us out in a thought if they wanted to. Stephen says it's kind of what happened to the Earth because of what man did to the Earth. You're welcome, human. Have a good night. Good night, Selena.
Good night, everybody that's going.
Yeah, it's because I'm so far behind in the chat, because we get talking and then I have to widen the chat down to see. Joanne says Mr. Blobby is the Illuminati leader, lol. Wouldn't surprise me. Oh, I never knew that above. Wow. I don't know what you never knew. Good night. I should take more of my sleeping, and now thanks for remembering me. You're welcome, human. I don't think that if we are only one of a million species in the universe and they can all see us, then why would they care as we can't find them? See, this is the thing, Bo. You know, they've got no real reason to come and visit us until we become of interest or a threat to them. And I think at the moment they know that we've got no real capability to get off this planet. I suppose we're like amoeba to them, ain't we, Andy, if they're that far advanced?
Yeah, probably.
Eleva Human says maybe they have seen what we did to our planet. Well, I would say for any advanced civilization, they will have had to have gone through a similar thing and found solutions to it. And this is what leads me to believe that some of them may be coming for a beneficial reason to help us bypass that, you know, so that we don't have to go through it. Let's scroll down a bit. Bo says the Drake equation, last step, communicating to the rest of the universe, as we don't seem to have an open conversation going on, that kind of brings it into question. I would say it's step 7, by the way. Yeah. They do admit that there are, you know, that they can't plug all the variables in to the Drake equation at the moment, but they can. They have managed to work out some of them, and what they've managed to plug into so far, that it's come to a figure of between 10,000 and a million. That figure could change as they, you know, as they're able to ascertain more of the steps of the figure of the numbers they can plug in. Good night, little Smalls. Thanks for joining us.
Good night.
Chris says that's why they use telepathy. Mind blown, hell of a human. Well, the thing is, Chris, if you think about it, the more advanced a species gets, the less it needs to rely on the physical, and the mental becomes more important. You could argue that, you know, the epitome of evolution is to shed the physical body altogether and just exist on a purely energy form, which I believe has probably happened out there. What do you think on that, Andy?
If you go down that line at Buddhists and that's what some of them are trying to achieve, innit?
Yeah.
So you never know, because it's all that like rainbow body stuff in it.
Mm-hmm.
Very interesting, like topic.
Yeah.
I do like it.
Yeah. You know, because as things, you know, as things develop intellectually, the brain gets bigger, and they rely less on the body. You know, and a lot of biologists have speculated that, if a species evolves far enough, it will eventually shed the physical altogether.
I tell you what story intrigues me. That guy in India, his record of his birth for like 295 year, I think it was, prior to his death. So he'd have been like nearly 300 years old when he died. He'd had something like over 100 kids, 40 wives in his lifetime, and he was a shoemaker.
Hmm.
And they asked him like, and he was like, oh, I've now done everything I needed to do in this life.
Was he an hobgoblin?
I don't know. I don't. It was definitely something. But the actual birth records were like really, really way back when, like in 1600s apparently.
Jesus.
It's like, what's all that about? Is it possible that he kept himself alive?
It's like there's an island in China apparently that's exactly the same, and they literally just refuse to die.
Yeah.
Going well over 100 on this. I was reading about it the other day. I can't remember what the island was called. It's somewhere in China, I think. And they call it the island where people refuse to die. Going into the 120s is common.
Yeah.
But there's a few people in there, and a lot of the time they have tended to come out of the east. From the Far East and stuff, where they have lived to great age, and it does make you wonder. Have they got knowledge of something that we ain't?
I mean, obviously you've got to strip environmental factors down as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
All pollution that we, in cities that's killing us. And,
Well, you've got to take into consideration now, and this is something that'll come to light in the future. China now is probably the world's largest polluter.
Yeah.
Is that going to suddenly start having an impact on these sorts of communities now, where where their life expectancies are suddenly going to start dropping?
You would imagine so, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Chris says, I'm so intelligent I don't need to be around you to physically connect with you. Postcard from geek lovers with no distance that can separate them. But it is right though, Andy. If you think about it, it's only been up until recently that the Far East has been fairly pollutant free, hasn't it?
Yeah.
But now both them and India, India and China and all them and Japan, they've gone really industrialised now.
Yeah.
Because the Japanese are another nation that are famed for being long lived. But all their air quality and they walk around, most of them now, the Japanese, with face masks on, don't they? Because the pollution's that bad. Are you going to start to see the life expectancy in Japan start plunging?
Right.
I know of people who decided to die without doing anything to themselves. All they did was deciding that their time has come, and it came immediately. You and I believe people can bring their own death on like that. You hear of people whose husbands or wives pass away, and the very next day they find them dead as well. And they say they've died of a broken heart. I do genuinely believe that, you can literally, if the intention's strong enough, that you can literally will yourself to die. I do believe that. Close your eyes and give me your hand, darling. Why do you think that a lot of the real, what I'd call the advanced spiritual knowledge is in the East, Andy? Do you think there's a reason why it's all concentrated there?
I don't know.
Because if you think about it, it developed in the places that were a lot less developed on an industrial scale.
Yeah.
You know, it was like turning back to nature was actually beneficial for them. That they, that they maintain that connection with nature and the land. Whereas,
Well, 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 well. If we look at it logically, right, that's where key to answers are, aren't they?
yeah,
That's where it is. Because, like you've just said, they had a bigger involvement in nature
hmm,
and not as much in industrial like what we've got, right? And it was same with Native Americans.
yeah,
They were very nature based,
hmm,
very very spiritual.
yeah, yeah,
Um, if not one of the most successful.
hmm,
You know, and then you've got, like you say, all Eastern stuff, and then obviously, such as China and Japan kind of started turning more, and losing because they had a rich history of the
oh god, yeah,
spirituals,
yeah. Well,
very rich.
some of the Japanese spirits are the most fascinating of them all.
Yeah, yeah,
There's
yeah.
one with an eyeball that comes out of its ass. It
Yeah.
bends over, and honestly, it bends over, and there's a big eyeball in its ass. They've got some really far out spirits and beliefs. The Japanese,
They've
far
got good
out.
mushrooms in Japan.
Hmm.
But no, it just suggests that 'cause a lot of it were a big nature involvement, so that's where the answers lie.
Yeah,
That's where that's where a lot of people could get a lot of their answers from.
yeah.
You know,
See, and it's also the fact that a lot of science developed in the West. I know, the ancient Chinese and stuff had certain things like they developed gunpowder and stuff like that, but they tended to use it for fireworks and stuff more so than for anything of a scientific nature. And I
yeah,
often wonder, science has bettered our lives on the physical level, but how much have we paid on the spiritual level for it? If we'd have stayed connected to the land rather than following science, would we now be better off? Would we all
probably
be
so,
would we all be at the stage where we'd be living to like 300 would be quite normal?
probably so.
Has science been more of a detriment to us than we actually realise?
Yep, I think it has because obviously without doing it, like you've just said there, that it bettered us, you know, as lives, but without it, we would have never have known any different. You know,
Yeah,
you know, like sat doing this now, and it's like if this thing had never been discovered, we wouldn't have known no different. We didn't need it.
yeah,
You know,
yeah. But it does seem the more we've turned to science and the more we've turned away
yeah,
from nature, the worse it's actually been for us.
it has. It's only going to get worse as well. There's a really
Hmm?
nasty outcome to come out of all how it's all going.
See, I honestly believe that we've hit the crux and we're on our way back now because there's a sudden upsurgence in things like solar energy and stuff like that, and I think I don't think it's a conscious decision, but I think now we will actually start working back towards that point again now,
I
and
think it'll be
I think it's
a
happened.
segregation.
Yeah, I think it's happened a number of times, Andy. And I think this is how it explains how, like the rise of the ancient Egyptians, and then they suddenly die off, and all the knowledge is
Yeah,
gone.
yeah.
I think it's a natural cycle of things, and I think it's happened more than once. I really do.
I do truly think there'll be a segregation. You'll get a lot of people that will go back, but you'll get them that will want all this to move forward, and
Oh
they'll
God,
end
yeah,
up
yeah,
like them
yeah,
plugged in potatoes, doing everything virtually, and
yeah,
you know, um, and there'll be a complete segregation of two lifestyles on Earth, if you will.
mhm.
You know, be a really strange place in future.
Oh God, yeah, without a doubt. Stephen says there were two gay men who were well known in New Zealand and did countless cooking shows on TV. When one passed away, his partner died sometime later with a broken heart. Yeah, you read it time and time again of these couples who've been married 50, 60 years, and the one dies, and within a week the other one's gone.
You hear it a lot with twins as well, don't you?
Yeah, yeah,
Not far apart from each other and that.
yeah. Bow says it's in the East as they are not as developed in Victorian England. They had a fascination with the paranormal. They will evolve. Yeah. Human, what do you think about voodoo? My mum told me that my biological dad did it, and one night he had some glowing green liquid placed in the room where me and my mum slept. See, a lot of voodoo is actually based on fear. Um, but I do believe there are aspects of voodoo that work, without a doubt. You know, the zombie thing came about is because there's actually a powder that they make, and if it's blown on people, it actually, and I think they showed it here in James Bond, jokingly, but that stuff does, that substance does actually exist, and it slows the heart rate down and everything, and you know, people think that they're coming back from the dead when they were never dead in the first place. But I do believe there's parts of voodoo that, you know, that genuinely work.
Oh yeah.
You know, but again, I think voodoo has been very subject to, like, the Ouija board, to Hollywood,
Yeah.
and the media, and
Well, and it's a tribal version of witchcraft.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah,
in most respects.
yeah. You know, and people think it's all about sticking pins in dolls to harm people, when 9 times out of 10 voodoo dolls and stuff were actually used in a positive manner for things like healing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know, but they just concentrated on the negative with it. People have got a very skewed version of what voodoo actually is. I never cried
like
as a
when-
baby, but until my mum threw it out the window, I wouldn't stop sitting up and screaming, crying. Interesting. Go on, Andy. What was you going to say?
Yeah, I was just going to say, it's like when they eat bones, isn't it? It's like their version of runes.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. It's not as bad as what.
Voodoo is not an evil religion.
No.
You know, in any way, shape, or form. There are, like, you know, there are negative aspects to it. There's no doubt about that. But there's negative aspects to paganism.
Of course there is.
You know, if you want to turn to the dark side, just, you know, to nick a Star Wars phrase, you know,
Right.
you could quite as easily do it as positive. You can quite easily harness the negative. Bao says voodoo is a religion, is a healer. My research seems to imply that. But what heals can harm. Proper practitioners would never do it. Exactly, Bo. You know, voodoo, like, you know, like Western paganism, is all down to intent. You know, there's a balance in anything. Where you got positive, you've got to have negative. There's always got to be that natural balance. Putting names on things segregates everything. Then the contamination of certain words, like awareness. Yeah, can you just talk a sec, Andy, because I need the loo again.
Alright.
Back in a sec.
No worries. Oh. So, what do you think that glowing green substance could have been? Sounds a bit strange. That does. I'd love to know. I would absolutely love to know what it is.
I'm back.
Are you back?
Yeah.
I just asked if they knew what that glowing green stuff might have been. You know, I'd love to know what it was.
God knows.
Yeah.
But that, you know, voodoo is quite, you know, it's quite well known. They use a lot of concoctions and herbs and stuff.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, Sam says there is more to voodoo than a lot being told. It's true, Sam. You know, Hollywood have concentrated on the negative aspects of it. It's no worse a religion than any other. Bo says, hell of a human, it's a fine line between love and hate. Very true. Chris, I'll move to heal as soon as pain allows, so we can reunite and both move on together. Just thought of them lyrics when you said pain is a healer. Chris says, no need to heal if there is no pain. Correct. Maureen's gambling again. Maureen, your points them dropping again. But yeah, you know, voodoo is not an evil religion. It really ain't, you know. It's the likes of James Bond and all the, and you know, Hammer House of Horror that have painted voodoo as an evil religion. It is far from an evil religion. You get to most, well, they have what they call white witch doctors, don't they? You know, they're extremely respected in the communities. They treat them as their doctors. Human says, Bo, that's true in a sense. I think that hate likes to masquerade as love. And vice versa. But yeah, what time is it?
1:30, I think.
12:30.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, my eyes have gone dodgy. I saw 1 instead of a 0.
Yeah, well, we ain't been too bad. So, right, guys, I think I'm going to close the stream down now because we've been going for 3.5 hours and I really need a drink. Thank you all for coming in. It's been a really interesting discussion again tonight, and I do thank everybody for their input. You know, because it is what makes these discussions what they are, and everybody's entitled to an opinion, and it's nice to hear everybody's. And I'd just like to say thank you to Andy again for coming on.
No props.
So thank you very much.
Take your black dress off.
Yeah, and put your red one on. Now it's out the washer. So once again, thank you all. Wish you all a good night. We will be back on Friday. We should be doing a 3-way stream on Friday with Sam from Life After Life. We are doing a discussion on Haunted, I've got to say this properly now, Haunted Island. So it'll be various places that Sam's been. Andy will be contributing with his stuff that he knows about the face side of things regarding Ireland, and Sam will be giving us some insights into, you know, how the people of Ireland view the paranormal and stuff like that. So thank you all, and hopefully we'll see you all on Friday. So have a good night, everybody. Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Night.